Looking at Tian Yu, both were smiling. Hu Xian came onto the deck. Looking from afar, very far away, the super city comes into view, which is very sci-fi. That's the demon city. Do you, the 68 demon clans, have the final say? In theory we have the final say, but in reality, the higher demons of the 48 demon tribes rule. We are their theoretical allies. There is an office of the 48 demon clans in Mowu City. They are in control of all important rules. There are also many people from the 48 demon clans who are training here. They are very arrogant, so it is best not to offend them. When he said this, he looked into Hu Xian's eyes, just to find out if he was afraid, and more importantly, to know if he was from the clan of high-level demons. Hu Xian nodded and said, "So, your 68 demon tribes are just a decoration. It's ugly, but it's the truth." The devil Lin Hu smiled bitterly and said, "That's right, although we seem to be so glorious to outsiders. We actually live cautiously, fearing that we might offend the higher-ups if we are not careful." Chapter 682, Demonic Royal Family. The land of the 68 demon tribes. The demon Lin Hu's spaceship landed at the landing point. "Wow, brother, you're back. What gift did you bring for Yu this time?" A girl of 17 or 18 years old, who looked like a child who had never grown up, came running over happily, jumping and shouting from a distance. "Brother-in-law, please." Hu Xian didn't hesitate and walked down the spaceship. Human race?" The devil Shiwei cried out in surprise when she saw Hu Xian. "Wow, sister, you are back too? Didn't you run away from your marriage?" Demon Shiwei rushed forward and threw herself into the arms of Demon Xiaoting. You are already a grown-up girl, but you are still so naughty. Yu is not a grown-up girl. You will always be a child in front of her elder sister and brother. "Sister, where is my gift? And second brother, where is my gift?" Both of them smiled bitterly, took out the small gift and handed it to the demon Shiwei. "Wow, thank you sister and brother for the gifts, love you guys. Hey, human, aren't you afraid of being eaten by our demon tribe?" The devil Shiwei came up to Hu Xian and said. Hu Xian smiled and said, "I eat demons too. If you dare to mess with me, I will eat you." "So do you eat it raw or cooked? Yu doesn't have much meat?" Hu Xian smiled and said, "There's not much meat, so let's make soup." Everyone was amused by the naive devil Shiwei. "Yu's soup doesn't taste good either. By the way, when you came to our house, did you bring any gifts? What gift do you want?" "Wow, gifts and whatever you want. You can get it. Then you want some mother, brother? Can you give you a mother? Don't you have a mother?" "No, I have been without a mother since I was a child." Hu Xian looked at the demon shouting and asked, "What's going on with Yu's mother? It seems like I'm imprisoned in Tianyuan." "Tianyuan?" Demon Lin Hu said, "Tianyuan is an island, but actually it is a prison, holding prisoners from all over the continent. Doesn't he also have a name called Death Island?" "Yes, the people on Red Moon Island call Tianyuan the Island of Death. However, there is no direct access to Tianyuan from Hongyu Island." "I have a mother, she is in Tianyuan?" Yu asked curiously. Demon Xiaoting didn't want to say anything at first. But then she said, "Since Yu has grown up, I should tell you. I heard from the elders that your mother is imprisoned in Tianyuan. And I'm going to Tianyuan to find my mother." Then he looked at Hu Xian and said, "Brother, didn't you tell me what gift I wanted? I want you to take me to find my mother." Ding mission, help the demon Shiwei go to Tianyuan to find her mother. Complete the mission to get a random gift package. The lowest is the best gift package. The highest is the super gift package. I didn't expect that after it was activated, the mission would at least give you a top-notch gift package. This mission is worth it. Okay, when I'm done with my work, I'll take you to Tianyuan to help you find your mother. Really? Thank you, brother? Brother, if you help me find my mother, I will marry you. As he said this, he kissed Hu Xian on the forehead. The devil Xiaoting smiled bitterly, but said nothing. If we really go to Tianyuan, I'm afraid only Hu Xian can help. At this time, the devil Lin Hu's phone rang. I quickly answered the call. "Hello, Dad? Why didn't you bring your sisters here when you came back? Hurry up, the second master of the evil 50 tribes, the demon group, has arrived in advance. Quickly bring your two sisters to the living room." "Okay, we'll be right there." Everybody heard this. The devil Xiaoting's expression was very unnatural. The devil Shiwei said with disgust, "I secretly looked at that old man. He is so ugly, I don't want to marry him. I would rather marry this brother than him." She pointed at Hu Xian and said. The devil Lin Hu said, "Brother-in-law, I hope you can help me later." Hu Xian smiled and said, "We are a family, so I will not stand idly by." Seeing Hu Xian so confident, the devil Lin Hu also breathed a sigh of relief. It is believed that he must be of a higher demon bloodline than the demon group. "Brother-in-law, please." A demon Shiwei ran in the front. Running towards the reception room, About a quarter of an hour. From a distance, the hall was already full of people. All of them were beautiful demon girls. After they arrived, Eamon Lin Hua wanted to go in, but was stopped by the old housekeeper. Master, the clan leader has ordered that only Demon Xiaoting and Demon Shuoi can go in. Other men and women who are not of the right age are not allowed to enter. The devil Lin Hua frowned and was about to explode. The old butler continued, this is the order of the clan leader. No one can disobey it. Huaxian didn't care about that and walked straight in. How dare a human being? Before he could finish his words, Huaxian released high-level demon blood to press forward. Ding dong! The old butler was forced to kneel on the ground. He looked shocked and was terrified to the extreme. Huaxian has already walked in. Please make way. Because the entire hall was filled with beautiful demons, Huaxian had no choice but to shout loudly. A man's figure was heard coming. An ugly old man sitting in the upper seat frowned instantly. The demon clan leader, Demon Hao Dang, was horrified and asked angrily, who is so blind that he disobeyed orders and dared to break in? Are you tired of living? The girls in the hall quickly made way and looked over in surprise. Huaxian also looked at them. At first glance, they are all beautiful girls with slim figures, curvy figures and beautiful looks. Human race? The devil Hao Dang became even more angry when he saw that it was a human. Who is so tired of living that he let a human in to cause trouble? A murderous aura spread across the sky. Huaxian walked step by step to the middle of the hall. The devil attacked directly. Huaxian immediately released his demonic bloodline. Ding dong! Under the absolute suppression, the demonic might was forced to stop. Feeling the extremely pure demon blood, his expression changed drastically. Even the demons sitting in the upper seats stood up. I couldn't help but exclaim, such pure demon blood. Are you from the demon royal family? The demon royal family. Only the top 20 are. As for the royal family, that's in the top 10. Extremely terrifying bloodline. It has an absolute suppressing effect on the demon bloodline behind. Huaxian ignored everyone's shock and walked step by step to the center. Walked towards the main seat. The group of demons couldn't help but make way. Bloodline suppression also has an extremely strong effect on him. That's why he exclaimed that it was the demon royal family. The other demons present were trembling with fear. The demon royal family. I couldn't even imagine that he would appear in the 68 tribes. Devil Lin Hui and the others then realized that Huaxian had been holding back. Huaxian sat down in the main seat. Looking around the room, he said with a smile, these girls are all good, I like them very much. Chapter 683, 5 trillion. The people from the 68 demon tribes all looked at each other and stared at the demon group's creatures from the 50 demon tribes. It took a while for the demons to recover from their shock. I took a deep breath and thought that I was old enough and had eaten more salt than this kid had eaten rice. So there was no need to be afraid. So he pretended to be calm and said, young man, everything should be based on first come first served. I asked for these girls first. Huaxian smiled and said, is it yours that you asked for first? Buzz. The blood vessels are fully opened and suppressed madly. In an instant, the demons bent their bodies and were almost on their knees due to the oppression. He activated his cultivation and persevered with gritted teeth. I was extremely shocked. This young man was definitely of the demon royal bloodline. I just don't know which tribe he belongs to. Ding dong. The demon group couldn't hold on any longer and fell to their knees. His face was as gloomy as ink as a powerful divine emperor. He was forced to kneel down in front of so many people by a young man who used his blood pressure to oppress him. How shameful. Huaxian said calmly, old man, don't say that I am using my bloodline to bully you. I'll give you a chance. Pack these beauties up. Whoever offers the higher price gets them. After saying this, he put away the blood pressure. The demon group finally breathed a sigh of relief and asked in a deep voice, are you serious? It took him a while to buffer before he stood up. Huaxian smiled slightly and said, who am I? How could I not lie to you? The demonic master nodded and said, okay, let's compare and see who has more demonic crystals. I thought to myself, I have lived for hundreds of thousands of years. How can a young waiter like you compare to my demon crystal marrow? Xiaoting, come here and collect the money. The devil Xiaoting came over quickly. The 68 demon clans then realized that the demon Xiaoting had a special relationship with this guy of demon royal blood. Husband. What? When I heard the devil shouting calling Huaxian, the whole audience was stunned. It's unbelievable that the bloodline of the demon royal family actually has set its eyes on the demon Xiaoting. In their opinion, even if Huaxian liked beautiful women, he would at most treat them as toys and abandon them when he had enough fun. Anyone who is truly worthy of his wife must at least be of the same bloodline, right? The demon group was also shocked. Huaxian nodded, handed her the demon card and said, honey, give me 3 billion Eamon crystals first. Okay, husband. Devil Xiaoting took action immediately. The people around were not shocked after all. For a demon royal family, 3 billion was really a small amount of money. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the consumption of 3 billion Eman crystals within 5 days and obtaining 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments as rewards. Ding! New mission: complete a critical hit of 4 times and consume 12 billion Eman crystals within 5 days. If the mission fails, the host will be killed if the mission is completed. 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments will be awarded. Devil Xiaoting turned on the transfer projection, and everyone can see the entire transfer process and amount. Seeing that Huaxian's 3 billion transfer was successful, everyone's eyes fell on the demonic group. A devil entered the group and took out a black devil card, added it to the Devil Xiaoting and said, "Take 3 billion with him. I want to test Huaxian's background." The Devil Xiaoting transferred 3 billion. Huaxian immediately said, 12 billion. It broke 10 billion in an instant. Everyone was shocked and thought, is this the battle between the higher demons and the demon royal family? The Devil Xiaoting quickly transferred the money. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have consumed 12 billion Eman crystals within 5 days and received 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments as rewards. Ding! New mission: complete the consumption of 60 billion Eman crystal essences with 5 times the critical hit within 4 days. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. Complete the mission and be rewarded with 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments. Sadly, no critical hit bonus was obtained. A demon group had a confident smile on their faces and didn't take Huaxian seriously at all. He smiled and said, 12 billion with him. Huaxian smiled and said, 60 billion. Huaxian spoke out before the demonic scripture was even transferred. Demon Xiaoting quickly transferred the money to the demon group Sutra, then transfer the money to Huaxian. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the consumption of 60 billion Eman crystals within 4 days and obtaining a 1/0 primary lottery chance fragment reward with a 100-fold critical hit. Ding! New mission: complete the consumption of 180 billion Eman crystal essences with 3 times the critical hit within 3 days. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments will be awarded. Huaxian was overjoyed. It is indeed the fire of consumption completion. The shorter the time of the second transfer, the greater the chance of activating the critical hit reward. Hurry up, don't waste time, Huaxian urged. The demon group said with a smile. What's the hurry? Are you in a hurry to lose? With him, 60 billion. The Devil Xiaoting quickly transferred the money. Before she finished transferring the money, Huaxian said, "Wife, 180 billion. Everyone finally began to be shocked. Now the two of them have a combined net worth of nearly 300 billion each. The Devil Xiaoting quickly transferred the money. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have consumed 180 billion Eman crystals within 3 days, received a 10,000 times critical hit reward, and obtained 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments. Ding! New mission: complete the consumption of 900 billion demon crystal essences with 5 times the critical hit within 2 days. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, the host will be rewarded with 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments. Huaxian's body trembled. He was extremely excited. 10,000 times 100,000 primary lottery chance fragments. It's so horrible. According to the demonic sutra, Huaxian's demon crystal essence is running low. He smiled and said, with his 180 billion demon crystals, don't add, just follow. The Devil Xiaoting quickly transferred the money. Huaxian also couldn't wait to say, wife, transfer me 900 billion Eman crystals. Hiss. Everyone in the audience took a deep breath. It was almost 1 trillion. Adding the previous ones together, it has definitely exceeded 1 trillion. This is the Devil's Crystal Marrow. The 68 demon clans were all shocked. Some elders and senior officials who were waiting outside couldn't help but come in. The Devil Xiaoting did not delay at all and transferred the money quickly. I thought that since the demon crystals were all with me, I could just return them to my husband when the time came. But the demonic sutra belongs to you, so don't even think about giving it back to him. That's why I'm very active in transferring money. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have consumed 900 billion Eman crystals within 2 days, and received 1,000 times the critical hit reward and 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments. Ding! New mission: complete the consumption of 3 times the critical hit within 1 day. 2.7 trillion demon crystal essence. If the mission fails, the host will be wiped out, and the reward for completing the mission is 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments. This time, the demons hesitated, looking at him with a keen eye. It was hard to tell how much demon crystal essence he still had. Huaxian, who was in a hurry to complete the task card BGU, urged, old loser, why are you nagging? Can you follow? If not, then admit defeat. An old waste, but it made the demons angry. He roared, "Give me 5 trillion Eman crystals." I thought to myself, I can knock you down in one strike. Chapter 684, Take My Punch. Huaxian smiled and gave him a thumbs up. The demon group said proudly, "Boy, if I don't take action." "It's fine if I take action, you will have no chance of survival." Huaxian shook his head and said to Demon Xiaoting, "Wife, give me 2.7 trillion demon crystal essence first." "Okay, husband." The devil Xiaoting quickly transferred the money. "Ding, congratulations to the host, you have consumed 2.7 trillion demon crystals in one day and received 10 primary lottery opportunity fragments as rewards. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 4 times the critical hit and round up to 10 trillion Eman crystals within 23 hours. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, the host will be rewarded with 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments. Huaxian's Eng regretted not getting the critical hit reward. Unexpectedly, after the time was reduced from daily to hourly calculation, the base number increased tenfold. What if the reward is 10,000 times higher? He said excitedly, "Wife, hurry up and give me 10 trillion Eman crystals." The whole audience was shocked. 10 trillion. Demon Xiaoting took a deep breath and did not delay. I kept muttering in my heart, "Swish, don't run, everything is here anyway." Huaxian was given 10 trillion at the fastest speed. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have consumed 10 trillion Eman crystals within 23 hours and received a 100 times critical hit and 10 million primary lottery chance fragments as a reward. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 20 trillion Eman crystals twice the critical hit within 22 hours. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. Complete the mission and be rewarded with 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments. Huaxian himself was stunned. With a base of 100 times, he got a reward of 100,000 times, which is a total of 10 million primary lottery opportunity fragments. Even though the rewards have arrived, it's still a little hard to believe. The whole audience was in a state of shock. I was shocked by Huaxian's 10 trillion yuan investment. I thought the 5 trillion demonic sutras were scary enough. Who would have thought that it would double in the future? Everyone's eyes subconsciously fell on the group of demons. The demon group master reacted and said, "You are cheating me. She is your wife, and you are the son-in-law of the 68 demon tribes. Whether you win or lose, the demon crystal is in your pocket. And even if I win, it means I have spent a huge amount of demon crystals to buy these women." Huaxian was in a good mood and said with a smile, "If that's what you want, then whoever wins will not only get these beauties, but also get all the demon crystals he spent, and also get his opponents." The demon Xiaoting cried out in surprise. She thought her husband's decision was a bit stupid. The demon group's eyes lit up and asked, "Are you serious? How could I, a member of the demon royal family, deceive you?" Huaxian said majestically, revealing his identity. "Okay, in that case, I will just give you 50 trillion. The demon group said generously. "If you can win a beauty and earn the devil's crystal, why wouldn't you give it a try?" Huaxian smiled and said, "That's right." Devil Xiaoting transferred the money speechless lie. But it was not as easy as before. "I pray in my heart that my husband must win." After the transfer was completed, Huaxian said, "Give me 20 trillion Eman crystals first." According to the demonic sutra, Huaxian doesn't have much demon crystal marrow left. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have consumed 20 trillion Eman crystals within 22 hours and received 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments as a reward. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 5 times 100 trillion Eman crystal essence within 21 hours. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments will be awarded. Huaxian did not expect to get the critical hit reward this time. After all, it took more than 3 minutes. "Hubby, give me 100 trillion demon crystals directly." "Is." The whole audience took a deep breath. The devil Xiaoting said with a pale face, "Husband, there is no need for so many." Huaxian said seriously, "Transfer the money quickly, don't waste time." The devil Xiaoting looked aggrieved and quickly transferred the money. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have consumed 100 trillion Eman crystals within 21 hours, and received a critical hit of 1000 times in 100. 0 primary lottery fragments. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 500 trillion Eman crystal essences with 5 times the critical hit within 20 hours. If the mission fails, the host will be killed. If the mission is completed, you will receive 100 primary lottery fragments. Although it is only 1000 times, it is a critical hit after all. Combined with 100 times the technology, 100,000 is also very good. Huaxian's mood was getting better and better and better. The faces of the demons turned gloomy. He looked at Huaxian. Seeing that he was smiling and looked confident, the demon crystal essence seemed like a bottomless pit to him, and he felt unsure. If this continues, if we lose, we will really lose everything. Huaxian sneered and asked, why? It's just a mere 100 trillion and you can't handle it. Although provoked, the demons did not fall into the trap. I am considering whether to continue to rape him. A whole audience was watching the demonic sutra nervously. Nearly 100 trillion have been invested now. If we win, we will make a lot of money, but if we lose, we will lose everything. But if he doesn't follow, not only will he not get the beauty, but he will also lose everything and lose face. So, follow. Give me 200 trillion demon crystals. The demonic sutra was almost roared out with gritted teeth. Demon Xiaoting took a deep breath and brushed 200 trillion demon crystal essences. Everyone's eyes subconsciously fell on Huaxian. Huaxian smiled and said, Honey, I'll swipe 300 trillion. The devil Xiaoting shuddered and thought, her husband must be from the royal family, otherwise he wouldn't be so wealthy. She suddenly became excited when she thought about having a royal husband. I won't feel bad about spending 300 trillion. After brushing, he looked at the demon group and said, Old man, it's your turn. The demons' bodies trembled violently. I deeply realized that I was trapped. What to do? What to do? He roared madly inwardly. Look at Huaxian again. The latter was smiling and full of confidence. He exhaled and said, I'll offer you a price again if you can beat me. I won't bother with you anymore. You win. Give me 500 trillion demon crystals. Not only was the demon crystal marrow in his body emptied, but his limit was also overdrawn. I have lived for more than 100,000 years, and I never thought that one day would overdraw my credit limit. Seeing Huaxian was full of confidence, Devil Xiaoting quickly swiped her card. Without waiting for everyone to look at him, Huaxian said, First, swipe 200 trillion. Devil Xiaoting brushed quickly. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have consumed 500 trillion demon crystals within 20 hours and received 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments as rewards. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 3 times the critical hit of 150 trillion demon crystals within 20 hours. The host will be killed if the mission fails, and the host will be rewarded with 100 primary lottery opportunity fragments if the mission is completed. Give me another 500 trillion demon crystals. The demon group collapsed completely. My mentality collapsed and my resentment surged. He glared at Huaxian and said, Since you are from the demon royal family, then take my punch. Chapter 685, Going to the Beauty Pageant. The typical asset is that if you can't compare, you take action. The whole audience was shocked. But no one thought that Huaxian was a match for the demonic group. Although there is bloodline suppression, the realm gap is too big and the suppression is not of much use. Facing this scene, the demon Hao Dang looked at an old man in the clan and said, Ancestor, please help us. What rescue? How can we afford to offend the high-level demons? The old man replied inferently, I thought, if it's just dogs biting each other, what does it have to do with us? The devil hesitated for a long time, but finally decided to give it a try. Compared with the higher demon clan, he trusts the demon royal clan more. Although his realm was not as serious as that of the demonic sutra, his attitude was shown by his move. Demon scripture. You are a high-level demon but you can't afford to lose. He used a secret technique to stand in front of Huaxian. Hit with all your strength. Stupid, it was the old ancestor of the 68 clans who cursed. Booming magnet. The demon's massive attack was easily crushed. Son-in-law, run. Seeing this, he crushed a defensive rune and yelled at Huaxian. Huaxian was very satisfied with the demon's performance. He pulled him behind him and said, Father-in-law, I appreciate your kindness. But this high-level demon dared to commit treason, he must die. Buzz. Demon blood erupts. Demon transformation. At the 30th level of the body refining divine emperor, he had completely merged with the demon bloodline without the slightest flaw. A punch was thrown. Booming magnet. The space was directly shattered, spreading towards the group of demons. How terrifying! Someone exclaimed. The whole audience was shocked. A random punch could have such power. The identity of this young demon king is definitely not simple. How could an ordinary young man from the demon royal family have such power? The demon's expressions changed drastically. There was no time to dodge. In the midst of extreme danger, he begged, Please spare my life. Rumble. The shattered space engulfed him. The body was torn into pieces in an instant. And the blood mist also collapsed due to space collapse. The soul still wants to escape. Huaxian pointed his finger and a strange force burst out. Soul devouring. The souls of the demons floated towards Huaxian uncontrollably. Please spare my life, sir. Please spare my life, sir. Please spare my life. The souls of the demons were terrified to the extreme and begged for mercy. As a high-level demon, you should know the rules. You dare to commit crimes against your superiors, you will only die. The souls were also absorbed and refined by Huaxian. And the demons were damaged. Everyone at the scene looked at Huaxian in horror. Only then did he realize that this demon royal family was not only rich, but also powerful. The devil Lin Hui took a deep breath when he thought of his previous attack on Huaxian. Fortunately, his sister is his woman, otherwise, it would be a disaster for the 68 demon tribes. Huaxian turned around and looked at the devil and said, "Father-in-law, I will remember the favor you just did." The devil's huge body trembled and he was extremely excited. I secretly exclaimed, "The bet was right, my bet was right." He smiled and said, "Son-in-law is polite, we are all family. This is what we should do." Huaxian's eyes fell on the ancestor of the 68 demon clans and said, "Some people don't think so. Is this kind of person worthy of being the ancestor of the 68 demon clans?" Buzz. This time, it was not bloodline, but direct suppression of strength. Ding dong. The ancestors of the 68 demon tribes knelt on the ground instantly. Beads of sweat kept rolling down his face, and he was terrified to the extreme. "Husband, calm down, that's our ancestor, please forgive him." The devil Xiaoting was frightened. Huaxian said coldly, "People like this don't dare to stand up when they see their own people being bullied. I'm afraid they will be like this in the future. If you don't have the courage and guts to protect your people, how can you be the ancestor? If you encounter danger, he will be the first to run for his life. People like this don't deserve to live." Click, click. Under the pressure of such a strong state, the old ancestor was bleeding from all 7 orifices and all the bones in his body were broken. "Please spare my life, sir." The ancestor begged for mercy. The devil wanted to beg for mercy. But if you think about it carefully, what Huaxian said makes sense. The demon royal family, even his own son-in-law, did not dare to stand up when threatened. How could he dare to stand up when his own people were in danger? "No, I won't give up." Boom! The body of the demon ancestor exploded. The soul turned into a black smoke and fled away. However, even a group of demons more powerful than him couldn't escape. So how could he possibly escape? Huaxian pointed his finger, and the soul power exploded, destroying it directly. Everyone in the audience looked at Huaxian with horror in their eyes, realizing that they could not offend him. Huaxian said to the devil in a sheepish tone, "Your ancestors are gone, so does this birthday celebration also exist?" The demon smiled awkwardly and said, "If it's gone, then it's gone. I'll just host a welcoming party for your son-in-law instead. The date is still the day after tomorrow." "Son-in-law, what do you think?" Huaxian nodded and said, "Okay." I thought to myself, I haven't experienced this yet. Then son-in-law, let's go to the dining room and eat first. Good. The entire 68 demon tribes are now revolving around Huaxian. And on the other side, the mad demon is coming. 50 tribes of demons. The tribesman who was guarding the fate tablet heard a loud bang and rushed to check. Then his expression changed drastically, and he screamed, "Oh no, this is terrible, the second master's life tablet is broken." The direct descendants of each ethnic group have their name tablets enshrined in one place. If something happens, the fate cards will react. An injured life card will tremble. And a seriously injured life card will have cracks. An explosive shattering like this proves that the tribe member of the life card is dead and even his soul has been destroyed. This incident, through the loudspeaker, instantly alarmed the entire 50 demon tribes. Countless senior executives put down what they were doing and rushed to the place where the fate tablets were enshrined. The ancestor demon town is the strongest and arrives first. Rushed in and offered sacrifices, looking at the high position. There is a conspicuous gap on the exploded fate card, and you can tell who it is at a glance. There are names under the life cards, and it is the demonic sutra. More and more high-ranking demons are arriving. After seeing it, everyone was shocked. As the second-generation master of the demon clan, everyone knows the strength of the demon clan. At the 15th level of Divine Emperor, not everyone can kill him. But now, not only is he dead, his soul has also been destroyed. This is a provocation to the 50 demon clans. Where did the demonic scripture go wrong? Nobody knows. All were silent. Doesn't anyone know where he's going? A leader of the demon group said, "Go ask the people around the demon group where he has been recently." Yes. A 6th-generation descendant, leave quickly. Everyone waited with gloomy faces. After a while, the 6th-generation descendant arrived with a pale old woman. This is the principal wife of the demonic king, and the only wife he has ever had. Where did the demonic sutra go? The demonic group asked angrily. Ding dong. The old woman immediately knelt down. Although she is also a demon, she is of ordinary demon blood and has a very low status. The demon race's inheritance is also very strange. Even if they combine with other races, their offspring will inherit the demon race's bloodline. If they are of the same race, the child will inherit the higher bloodline. The old woman said quickly. She went to the beauty pageant of the 68 demon tribes in Mowu City. Chapter 600 Itexas. So amazing. How can you lose your life in a beauty pageant? The old demon town ancestor roared. Boom boom boom. Everyone was so scared that they knelt on the ground, trembling in fear. A demon group said, Ancestor, the 68 demon tribes of Mowu City are under the command of the 48 demon tribes. If it is said that the demonic scripture can be killed, only the strong ones from the 48 demon clans can do it. Could it be that someone from one of them did it? The demon commander asked in a deep voice. Why did the people of the 48 demon tribes attack our tribe? There has never been any conflict between the two sides. Demon group read analyze. Could it be that the demon group offended the 48 demon clans in Mowu City? So they met with misfortune? It's unnecessary to analyze here. Send someone to investigate. The demon town level said and turned and left. It is natural to feel sad when losing a strong man. Demon group red said to a third-generation old man. Demon goldsmith, go to Mowu City. Remember, go and investigate the cause of the demon group's death. Do not act without authorization. Clear? The demon metalworker left with a gloomy face. This side of Mowu City, the ancestral restaurant of the 68 demon tribes. All the tables were filled. Huaxian did not sit in the most honorable seat. After all, he was just a son-in-law. The devil was sitting in the upper seat. And he was extremely excited. According to his status, he is absolutely not qualified. But he felt honored that his son-in-law gave up the position to him. Son-in-law, come, let's have a drink. Huaxian did not refuse and drank it all in one gulp, saying, good wine. Then we ate and drank, and everything was very harmonious. After eating and drinking, Huaxian asked, Father-in-law, I have a question for you. Son-in-law, if you have any questions, just ask. What's going on with the devil Shuoi's mother? This. The devil was instantly awakened by the alcohol. Then he said bitterly, to be honest, my mother, the demon Kion, is of mutated sub-royal bloodline and has the opportunity to advance to the royal family. A powerful man from the royal family fell in love with Demon Kion and wanted to possess her. Demon Kion met me while she was escaping from marriage. And we got together. The Demon King still took her away, but found that the Demon Kion's sub-royal bloodline was gone. In anger, he imprisoned him in the abyss. How come the sub-royal bloodline suddenly disappeared? Huaxian was quite curious. Demon Haodang shook his head and said, I don't know either. But some people have analyzed that my bloodline is too low level, and it has been combined with Demon Kion's mutated sub-royal bloodline, causing the mutated bloodline to disappear. By the way, son-in-law, why are you asking this? Huaxian smiled and said, I promised the demon Shuoi to accompany her to Tianyuan to find her mother. The demon Shuoi at the next table was extremely excited when he heard this. I couldn't help but say loudly, brother-in-law, thank you. He called me brother-in-law in a way that made people envious. Just because Huaxian is too strong. At this time, a beautiful woman mustered up the courage to come up to Huaxian and said, Brother Xian, you and that group of demons bought us before. Now that you have won, are we yours too? Looking at this beautiful woman, Huaxian really didn't want to refuse. However, more beauties gathered together. They said in unison, Brother Xian, we are all yours now. Right? Each one has a perfect figure and outstanding appearance. Huaxian really wanted to take them all in one go. But, there are just too many. He smiled bitterly and said, we'll talk about this later. Suddenly he remembered that he already had a bunch of wives on Red Moon Island. Fortunately, there was no female protagonist system at that time, so it was not bound. Now that we are far apart, I don't miss you as much. Everyone is not stupid, so everyone understands what Huaxian means. Not at all. Father Xian, please accept us, we don't ask for status. We just want to follow you and serve you. For such royal blood, being a maid is an honor for them. The devil said loudly. Son-in-law, since everyone is eager to follow you, just accept it. You have so many wives around you who also need someone to take care of them. They are just the right people. I thought the more people you have around you, the more secure your position will be. Huaxian smiled bitterly and said, and you just follow me for the time being. Yeah. Thank you Xian. They all jumped up with joy. Surrounded by a group of beautiful women, Huaxian suddenly felt not so happy. Because there are just too many. If not 100, there are at least 99. Even an iron kidney wouldn't be able to handle this. Okay, all of you leave first. Xiaoting, take me to Mowu City for a stroll. Okay, husband? I want to go too, the devil Shuoi said loudly. Okay, everyone who wants to go can go. Honey, we sisters will go shopping by ourselves. Yu Qian Qian said. Okay, wife. Goodbye. Husband. They left first. Demon Xiaoting and Demon Shuoi then took Hu Xian out of the 68 demon clans. Demon Shuoi said, Brother Xian, let me explain our Mowu city to you, okay? Good. First of all, our Mowu city is very huge. It covers an area of 100 miles. However, our demon 68 clans were not in the city center, but on the east side. The best central area is occupied by the 48 demon clans, so it is almost a restricted area for outsiders. However, I heard that there is a huge demon Ragan vein under the central area. It is a good place. Demon Ragan vein? Yes, it is spiritual dragon vein composed entirely of demon king crystals, which can continuously provide extremely pure demon gene power. Hu Xian nodded and immediately became interested. Seeing Hu Xian's expression, Demon Xiaoting said worriedly, Husband, are you planning to take over the demon Ragan vein? Hu Xian shook his head and said, No, I don't lack demon essence. I'm just curious about what the demon Ragan vein looks like. I don't know what it looks like either. How about we go and take a look secretly? The devil Shuoi said to Hu Xian. Okay, let's go check it out then. The devil Shuoi said cautiously, then let's go in at night. There are fewer people at night, we can sneak in. The devil Xiaoting was speechless. I thought these two people really have the same taste. Hey, Demon Shuoi, you haven't come out for a long time. A crisp voice was heard. Hu Xian looked over subconsciously. I saw a beautiful girl jogging towards me. The demon Shuoi also trotted over and complained on the way. Mantis Yi, you don't know that I have been imprisoned recently. They said I was too naughty, so they locked me up and wouldn't let me go out. And how did you get out now? My sister and my brother-in-law are back. I'll tell you a secret, my brother-in-law is of the bloodline of the Demon King. He's very powerful, even the Divine Emperor Masters were blown up by him with one punch. Chapter 687, Violation of the Rules. The demon Shuoi continued. Don't be surprised, there is something more important to tell you. What is it? My brother-in-law, I am going to sneak into the center point occupied by the 48 demon clans tonight to see the demon Ragan spiritual vein. Mantis Yi was shocked. Demon Xiaoting said to Demon Shuoi, speechless lie. Sister, why do you tell others everything? Hu Xian also smiled bitterly. He didn't expect that this girl was so simple-minded. It seemed that he couldn't tell her everything in the future. The demon Shuoi said inferently, Sister, Mantis Yi is my best friend. Tell her it's okay. We also said that we would marry the same husband together in the future. Hu Xian's eyes lit up. Doesn't that mean marrying him? This mantis leaf gave him a very unusual feeling, but he couldn't figure out what was unusual about it. Shuoi, call me tonight and I'll go too. What do you want me to do? Why don't you just come with us now? We can go together tonight. Is this okay? Looked at Hu Xian and the devil shouting. What's wrong with that? They are my sister and brother-in-law. They are family. Then I'll follow you. After saying this, he looked at Hu Xian. He heard from the devil Shuoi that he was of the devil royal bloodline. Hu Xian nodded and said, then let's go together. Yeah. Thanks, brother-in-law, you're the best. Brother-in-law, don't worry, even if you don't find a mother for me. I will choose you first if I get married. You still want to find your mother? I heard that your mother is imprisoned in Tianyuan. Mantis Yi said in surprise. Yes, so my brother-in-law has to accompany me to Tianyuan to find my mother. When the time comes, do you want to go? Mantis Yi looked at Hu Xian in surprise and said. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Oh, let's talk about it when the time comes. When the time comes, you will definitely go. Not far. Hey, Mantis Yi, Demon Xiaoyu, you are all here. Another great beauty. Chanjielu Yuanian, you actually ran out of the door too. They both gathered around excitedly. Changli Yuanian glanced at Hu Xian and Demon Xiaotin, and whispered to them, I ran away secretly, and they wanted to take me to the blind date square for a blind date. Is there any blind date event in the blind date square today? Devil Shuoi, how long have you not been out? The event has lasted for 3 days. I heard that many young heroes and peerless fairies from other cities have come here. Wow, there must be a lot of handsome guys there. Why don't we go check it out? After saying that, he suddenly thought of something and quickly said to Hu Xian, Father-in-law, don't worry, I'm just going to see the handsome guy, and there are many stunning beauties here. Do you want to go? Brother-in-law? While asking this, he actually pulled Hu Xian away. Hu Xian smiled bitterly. The devil Xiaoting said, speechless lie. Sister, you are a big girl now, be more mature. Oh sister, being mature is so tiring, just be mature. He also pulled Demon Xiaoting over. And he stood in the middle, holding their arms. Chanjielu Yuanian asked Mantis Yi in a low voice. Why is Demon Shuoi's brother-in-law a human? Mantis Yi smiled and said. Don't underestimate him. Shuoi told me that his brother-in-law is of the bloodline of the demon royal family. Demon royal blood, no wonder it is said that royal blood can control the identity of any clan leader. It seems to be true. Evil Shuoi and his brother-in-law are going to the territory of the 48 demon clans in the center of the city tonight to spy on the demon Ragan Vane. Do you wanna go? Chang Liuanian's eyes lit up and he said, I have to go. How can I not go for such an exciting event? Huaxian was speechless when he heard their conversation. I thought to myself, you make friends like your personality. It is obvious that the friends of the devil Shuoi all have this kind of fearless character. After about half an hour, we arrived near the Blind Date Square. From a distance, the entire huge square is probably about 3 miles in size and is decorated in a very romantic and festive manner. Wow, we're here at the Blind Date Square, let's go over there quickly. Devil Shuoi let go of Huaxian and Devil Xiaoting and rushed over. Mantis Leaf and Long Deer Edge Flame followed closely behind. The three of them are full of youthfulness and have a special charm. Husband, do you want to go on a blind date too? Asked the devil Xiaoting. Huaxian held her in his arms and said with a smile, I don't know if you're going to have a blind date. But it's not against the rules to go in and take a look. The two of them also walked over. Wait a minute. Both of you, please fill out your ID cards and hang them on your chests. Shouted an auntie wearing a work uniform with the word blind date on it. Huaxian nodded, took the ID card and took a look at it. Race, name, age, assets, strength, power, background, etc. Anyway, blind date? Of course you have to write it clearly. The aunt said, all information must be filled out truthfully and reliably. If you lie, the blind date organizer will hold you accountable. Huaxian nodded casually. Then he walked in with the devil Xiaoting hanging on his chest. I just took a few steps. A girl saw that he was a human and looked at the ID card curiously. Oh my god, look at this, this human is only 22 years old. It immediately attracted countless people to look over. Someone said disaffectedly, what kind of ability does a 22-year-old human have? How dare you come for a blind date? The girl continued. At the cultivation base of the 100th level of the Divine King. And unlimited assets? What, so crazy? Unlimited assets? What is infinity? It means that it is inexhaustible. No, what level of strength do you think he is at? God King at the peak of level 100? Are you crazy? A 23-year-old human being is already good enough to be able to practice. You tell me he is at the peak of the 100th level of the Divine King. The scene suddenly exploded. The girl said, why are you looking at me? This is what it says on his profile card. Fuck, you guys believe this? This guy's profile card must be filled out randomly. How can he have unlimited assets? Where is the person in charge of the dating plaza? Hurry up and kick this lunatic out. Really? You're showing off even to the dating plaza. The men and women at the scene looked at Huaxian with great dissatisfaction. The person in charge of the blind date plaza arrives soon. She is a woman with a slim figure, extraordinary temperament, and wearing a veil. She said to Huaxian in a sweet voice, you have violated the rules, please leave immediately. Huaxian asked with a puzzled look on his face, what rules did I break? So many people say you lied about your age, your accomplishments, and your assets, and you still say you didn't break any rules? This bastard is still pretending. Get him out right away. The human race is really despicable. Oh, I almost forgot the most important thing. He is still an inferior slave without any identity mark. Fuck, it's true. Get this inferior slave out right away. It's really disgusting to me. Chapter 688, Life and Death at Your Own Risk. The responsible beauty said to Huaxian in a serious voice. Please leave, or I will take compulsory measures. Just get out of here right now, or I'll throw you out. More people roared. Facing these people, Huaxian sneered. You keep saying that there is something wrong with my information. Well, is there anyone who dares to stand up and prove it? I dare you. A young man with obvious toad features answered first and stood up. Huaxian smiled and said, okay then, what do you want to do to me? The toad youth sneered, I can't stand a loser like you showing off here. So I want to prove that you are not strong enough. Waving his fists. He couldn't wait any longer. Huaxian nodded and said, okay. The respondent looked at the people around him and said, since he wants to prove my strength, please all bear witness. So that if something goes wrong later, no one will cause trouble for me. Nonsense, we are all witnesses. Life and death are your own responsibility, said a young man with a mosquito-like head. The toad youth immediately said, that's right, life and death are your own responsibility. Let's get started. Huaxian stopped him and said, wait. If you have any last words, please tell them now. Huaxian looked at the beautiful lady in charge and said, for the sake of fairness and justice, how about you be our referee? The beautiful lady in charge nodded. Huaxian then said to the toad youth, come on. The toad youth said arrogantly, I'll give you a chance to strike first. Otherwise you won't even have a chance to strike. Hu Xian laughed and nodded. Okay, read the whole thing. Rushed over. The speed is average and everyone can see it clearly. Everyone saw this and sneered. I think Hu Xian is dead. Seeing this, the Toad Youth was even more disdainful. With his hands on his hips, looking like he was waiting for you to attack. Hu Xian approached him and punched him in the chest. He still had his hands on his hips, looking as if he was ignoring Hu Xian. Everyone smiled at this. After all, this Toad Youth is at the 60th level of God King, which is considered a genius. Bang! It seemed that Hu Xian's fist landed lightly on the Toad Youth. There was a loud bang. Makes people doubt their own ears. Click, click. The sound of bones breaking was heard one after another, stimulating everyone's nerves. Only at this time did the young man's body fly into the air. The speed is still not fast. People dodged quickly to avoid being injured by mistake. Toad Leaf family. A young man who looked very similar to the Toad Youth saw this and rushed over to catch him. No one found it strange. When the young man touched the Toad Leaf family with his hands, click, click, he only felt a huge force coming at him. His expression changed drastically, and his hands broke into pieces. Bang! When the Toad Youth's body fell on him, there was a loud bang and blood spurted out instantly. He was also knocked away. The whole audience was stunned with shock. I couldn't believe my eyes. And those masters were so frightened that they were stunned. Because they see more. It looks like an ordinary punch. But it carries the power to destroy the world. And the force acted on the Toad Leaf family's body, but did not explode completely when someone touched it. This force exploded with an attack. Such a terrifying power control ability is definitely not something that can be achieved by ordinary people. What's even more horrifying is that this human youth managed to do it so simply, casually and with great power. Boom! The young man who forcibly caught the Toad Leaf fell to the ground first. With a loud bang, the ground collapsed instantly, and a huge pit with a radius of 30 meters appeared in the eyes of everyone in the audience. They were so stunned that they were completely numb. No one knew whether the people in the pit were dead or alive. Boom! The Toad Leaf family also fell to the ground. It also created a bottomless pit. The force of a casual blow was actually applied to one person, and after staying on one person, it also hurt another person. This kind of horrific method is really creepy. By the time they reacted and looked at Hu Xian, they were all terrified to the extreme. Only then did I realize that his strength was not fake. It is not easy for a human being to have such terrifying combat power. After a long while, a young man of extraordinary status said, I'm afraid his fighting power has reached the level of a divine emperor. I think it's not just that ordinary god emperors can't do what he does. Right? Is it possible that his control over power is a skill? Yes, it must be a skill, otherwise it cannot be explained. The scene went into an uproar. Hu Xian looked at the audience calmly and said, who else wants to verify my strength? The scene fell silent. And everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. It was a long time later. A beautiful woman who looked like a human came out and said, let me try. Hey beauty, are you also responsible for your own life and death? Hu Xian looked at the other party and asked. The beauty smiled and said, just stop when you're done. That's fine, I can't bear to destroy a flower. Look at the sword. The beauty took direct action. Feeling the pressure from her explosion, someone exclaimed, the Divine Emperor is definitely a Divine Emperor level expert. A young man who was also a Divine Emperor said, I'm afraid he is about the 3rd level of Divine Emperor. I don't know which tribe he is from. This time, it was Hu Xian who was careless and did not take the enemy seriously. This scene made people curious. The beauty felt looked down upon and was very angry. The sword in his hand became sharper. Seeing him approaching, this guy still didn't take it seriously and became even more angry. A sword slashed out. The space was shaking, and there was actually a roaring sound. Fast and steady, the power control is also extremely terrifying. Seeing that Hu Xian was about to be hit by the sword, he made a fuss. The onlookers took a deep breath for him. He then slowly made his move. It seems slow, but in fact it is all after images. Gently pressed his fingers together. The beauty was horrified to find that her powerful sword could no longer advance even an inch. The whole audience looked at the scene in stunned silence. The beauty's realm is definitely above that of the Divine Emperor. And her combat power is even more powerful. The sword she swung out was actually caught by this human youth with 2 fingers. There was still no pressure and I caught it with just 2 fingers. Hu Xian loosened his 2 fingers and said with a smile, thank you. The beauty finally reacted, and her eyes were still full of fear as she looked at Hu Xian. This was the most terrifying young man she had ever seen. They subconsciously looked at Hu Xian's information. The 23-year-old is particularly eye-catching. I'm afraid no one would believe such a terrifying 23-year-old. Your age is not real, right? The beauty couldn't help asking. Huaxian shook his head and said, "Sorry, it's true." The people around also reacted. Someone shouted, "Impossible, your youth is definitely not real. Even if you were the human king back then, it's impossible for you to have such terrifying strength at the age of 23. Yes, we require age testing." Everyone's eyes fell on the beautiful woman in charge again. The latter took out an instrument and said to Huaxian, "Now I want to test your age." Chapter 689, Shameless. Huaxian nodded and said, "Come on, test it casually." Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the beautiful female manager put the instrument on Huaxian's arm. Then he said, "This instrument will test your bone age, blood age, and genetic age." Huaxian nodded. The beautiful person in charge has already started this small instrument. As the instrument was running, Huaxian felt a strange force entering his body. Quickly fills all cells in the body, getting stronger and stronger. The whole body even glowed. It looks a bit weird. About a minute. Damn, the bone age test is 23 years, 3 months and 20 days. A whole audience was shocked. My heart was in turmoil and I couldn't believe it. The bone age is actually 23 years old? I waited for about 3 more minutes. Ding, blood age test, 23 years, 3 months and 20 days. The whole audience was shocked. A bone age and blood age are consistent, which basically proves that the age of this human race is really 23 years old. That's why people are shocked. 23 years old. With terrifying divine emperor level combat power. How the hell did he practice this? This is too unscientific. Now the only thing left to test is genetic age. Everyone waited patiently. This process takes a little longer, because genetics are complicated. About 10 minutes. Ding, genetic age test completed, 23 years, 3 months and 20 days. Everyone in the audience took a deep breath. Really 23? There is absolutely no mistake about this. Everyone looked at Huaxian with horror. Even the demon shouting and others are the same. Huaxian said calmly, "Now everyone believes my age, right?" Countless people trembled and came to their senses. The young girls who came to participate in the blind date looked at Huaxian with extremely passionate eyes. It looked like he wanted to sacrifice himself immediately. The beautiful lady in charge also came back to her senses. Took the instrument off Huaxian's hand and said, "There is no problem with your identity. You can participate in the blind date." Huaxian nodded and turned to leave. The beautiful lady in charge yelled, "Wait, you forgot to leave your contact information on your ID card." Huaxian smiled and said, "I did it on purpose. I don't want to be remembered by too many girls." Having said that, he was about to walk away. "Can I add your contact information?" Everyone was shocked. This human being even made the beautiful female manager fall in love with him. Huaxian shook his head and said, "Sorry, I don't like dating a woman whose face I haven't even seen." After saying that, he walked away without looking back. "Brother-in-law, wait for me." A demon Shuoi quickly chased after him. Holding Huaxian's arm, her eyes were full of stars. Mantis Yi and Shanji Luoyuan also surrounded Huaxian, wishing they could pledge their love to him. There was a large group of beautiful women around him. "Huaxian, please add the contact information." "Handsome guy. Can you add my contact information?" Everyone wants Huaxian's contact information. Huaxian shook his head and said, "Everyone should just give up on me. I am here to accompany my sister-in-law on a blind date." The devil Shuoi pouted and said, "I don't want a blind date. I want to marry my brother-in-law." Although there was no opportunity, there were still many beauties surrounding Huaxian. I thought, what if there is a chance? This scene also attracted the attention of many people. Those who didn't know what was going on became curious. What's up with that human? He doesn't even have an ID card. He must be someone's slave, right? Why are there so many girls surrounding him? I'm curious too, let's go over and ask. "Why, beautiful lady, why are you all surrounding this human youth?" You can tell for yourself by looking at his ID card. Upon hearing this, many people who didn't know the situation crowded around and approached Huaxian. "Everyone, please make way." Soon someone approached Huaxian, and after seeing his information card, he was stunned at first. Then he exclaimed, "Oh my god, 23 years old? Peak level 100 God King, with endless assets? Besides, how is that possible? It's obviously fake." No, if it was fake, it would have been kicked out long ago, right? As the news spread, Ayu's people gathered around. He pushed away the person who had followed Huaxian. Even the demon Shuoi and the others were pushed away. "Hey, what are you doing? My brother-in-law doesn't like you. There's no point in getting close to him." The devil Shuoi shouted angrily. Many people approached Huaxian and saw the information card clearly. And their first reaction was disbelief. "Hey, handsome guy? Do you really have unlimited assets?" a girl asked curiously. Huaxian hasn't answered yet. Someone said, how is that possible? He probably just has some assets, so he's so rampant. Handsome guy, how are you going to prove that you have endless assets? Huaxian smiled and said, do I need to prove it to anyone? The whole audience was stunned. So crazy. Good personality. I think he's just pretending. Hey look, the blind date goddess Song Maui is coming. Hearing this, many people looked over. As a creature evolved from a pine caterpillar, Naui has weird hair, but it doesn't affect her beauty at all. As she approached, the people blocking the road couldn't help but make way. Suddenly, the route from Song Mahanavi to Huaxian's position was clear. Under everyone's gaze, she slowly approached Huaxian. His eyes also fell on Huaxian. But it be that Song Maadi has taken a fancy to this human? I don't think it's possible. Maybe they are just curious about this human race. After all, he is only 32 years old, at the peak of the 100th level of the Divine King, and has endless assets. Each of these is very eye-catching. You'll know once you see. I hope Song Maan Abi can expose this guy. I see everyone is looking forward to it. Huaxian suddenly changed direction and said, please make way. People who were blocking the road subconsciously moved out of the way. Huaxian just left. The whole audience was stunned. What do you mean? When you saw your blind date goddess Song Maui coming, you actually ran away? Shit, he must be feeling guilty and worried about being exposed. So he ran away. That's absolutely true, brothers and sisters over there. Stop him and don't let him run away. Such pretentious people must be severely punished. Suddenly, a group of people blocked Huaxian's way. Huaxian asked, speechless lie. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're pretending to be awesome and you want to run away. It's not that easy. A young man said enviously. I thought to myself, I'm dressed so handsomely, but you've stolen all the limelight. Huaxian shook his head and said nothing more. At this time, Song Man Avi had already come to him. A sweet voice asked, why did you leave when you saw me coming? Is it really like they said? Are you pretending? Huaxian smiled brightly and said, I'm just worried that you've fallen in love with me. And I've been a vegetarian lately and don't want to pick up girls. So I just avoided you. Someone burst out laughing and sneered disapprovingly. I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen anyone as shameless as you. Chapter 690, A Dog-Licking Look. Song Man Abi also frowned. He looked at Huaxian's information card, then turned on the communicator, took a photo and sent it to the organizer of the Blind Date Plaza. Only then did I make the corresponding call. Hello? How can I help you? Song Maui said, I just sent a guy's data card over. I want to ask if there is any problem. Please wait a moment. I will verify it for you. After a while, he said, hello. The identity information you verified was personally tested and verified by a staff member 5 minutes ago. There is no problem. The whole audience was shocked. No problem, that's true. Huaxian smiled and said, now, I can go. After saying that, he turned and left. Those who blocked the road forget to give way. Please make way, Huaxian shouted. These people were so shocked that they forgot to move aside. Some people still don't believe it and think that the people who conducted the test in the blind date square must have made a mistake. Huaxian had no choice but to unleash his power. A terrifying aura spread out instantly. This is not the aura of a peak god king, but that of a god emperor. Boom boom boom. All the people around who were lower than the divine emperor were oppressed by this aura and collapsed to the ground. This moment, only then did they realize that this 23-year-old human was truly strong. Someone said in shock, this is not the peak cultivation of a divine king at all. This is a divine emperor. Song Mayathi was finally moved. Watching Huaxian continue to walk away, he couldn't help but ask, don't I, Song Maan Avi, have this little bit of charm? Huaxian didn't look back. The whole audience was shocked. I also admire Huaxian for not giving any face to the blind date goddess Song Maan Avi. Everyone knows that since the blind date square was held, Song Maan Avi has participated in it more than 130 times, but has not found a suitable partner. Coupled with her beautiful temperament and status, she is known as the blind date goddess. She is also secretly called the woman with extremely high requirements and the most difficult to win. Such a blind date goddess is now being ignored. If you think about it carefully, this human race is indeed extraordinary just based on their strength, not to mention their age and assets. Seeing that Huaxian was still ignoring her, Song Man Abi became even more angry and trotted after him. He angrily grabbed Huaxian's wrist, pulled him over, and asked him face to face, what do you mean? Looking directly at Huaxian, waiting for him to answer, Huaxian smiled and said, look, you have a bad memory. I told you before that I'm worried that you'll fall in love with me. You seem to be very impatient now, but I still have to tell you that I don't want to fall in love or find a woman now. You bastard, then what are you doing here at the dating plaza? Also, I Song Ma and Avi, am just curious about you. I don't like you, let alone love you. Please don't be so narcissistic. Huaxian nodded and said, I feel relieved when you say that. So, can you please let go of my hand now? After saying that, he looked at the wrist that was being grabbed. Song Ma and Avi was shocked, but had to let go. It's unbelievable that there is a man who can really ignore me. Not far away, the devil Shuoi suddenly said to the devil Xiaoting, Sister, you are like this. After hearing this, the devil Shuoi's eyes lit up and she quickly squeezed through the crowd and approached Huaxian. Soon she came in front of Huaxian and pretended to be a fangler and said, Handsome guy, add me and let's be friends, okay? Huaxian smiled brilliantly, intending to cooperate with the devil Shuoi and said, Okay, but I don't like making friends. I always make friends directly with my wife. Are you willing? Yes, I do. After the demon Shuoi agreed, she quickly called out, Husband. Yes, wife. The two shouted to each other and then hugged each other. The whole audience was stunned. I thought, although this girl is very beautiful, there is still a certain gap between her and the blind date goddess. Right? A blind date goddess approaches you actively, but you keep rejecting her. If this girl confesses her love to you, you should agree. What is this? Is that intentional? Everyone subconsciously looked at Song Ma and Avi. As expected, her expression was extremely ugly. Huaxian hugged the devil Xiaoting and turned to leave. Huaxian, what do you mean? Matsuma Anavi asked angrily. Huaxian walked away without even turning his head. Song Ma Anavi was so angry that she chased after him again. He rushed directly in front of Huaxian and opened his arms to block him. The majestic breasts were shaking violently, probably because she was too angry. Many young people around couldn't help swallowing their saliva. Huaxian couldn't take his eyes off it either. Let's look at the others of Song Ma Anavi. Her straight long legs in black stockings are so beautiful. An angry face is also very beautiful. Subconsciously, I suddenly realized that you are actually quite good looking. How about this? I will give you a chance to be my wife. The whole audience was stunned. What's going on? Everyone's eyes fell on Song Ma and Avi. I have such a ridiculous idea, she won't agree to it. Right? Song Ma is stunned. I thought to myself that you are really like what you said. You don't make friends, you only make friends with wives. He took a few deep breaths before suppressing his anger and said, They're dreaming. I, Song Ma and Avi, will never like you. Huaxian immediately said, Then why are you blocking my way? Do you think you are the only blind date goddess in the entire blind date square? Why don't you get out of the way? The sudden change in tone and attitude made Song Ma and Avi so angry that she was stunned again. Huaxian hugged the devil Xiaoting and rushed forward. Bang! He pushed Song Ma and Avi aside and walked over. That moment, Huaxian exclaimed, What a rich story. But he still pretended not to care and left. Song Ma and Avi was so angry that she looked at him blankly, not knowing what to do for a moment. After hesitating for a while, he followed silently, wanting to see what tricks this guy could play. Boom! At this moment, a violent, destructive aura came pressing down. Then a young man came running over, landed next to Song Ma and Avi. He said in a dog-licking manner, Naoi, I heard someone bullied you. Who was it? I killed him. Song Ma's eyes lit up, and she pointed at Huaxian and said, It's him. That boy. A human being dares to bully my goddess. Die. The young man rushed forward directly. Everyone suddenly became excited, staring without blinking. Huaxian ignored it the whole time. Seeing this, the young man was furious and cursed. You bastard, you dare to ignore me. I want you to die without a complete body. Boom. Destroying the world and reincarnation. A circular shadow appeared in the space track where the sword passed, becoming more and more solid. As it solidifies, the power it emanates becomes more and more terrifying, directly surpassed the realm of God King. And it is still rising. As the pressure continued to increase, the expressions of the people watching the show around became solemn. More people chose to retreat far away. In a battle of this level, if you are not careful, you will suffer a great loss if you are killed by mistake. Chapter 691. If you like me, I will take her down. Wherever the reincarnation passes, space collapses and everything is destroyed, just like the end of the world. This is also the true power of the world-destroying reincarnation slash. Around will quickly approached Huaxian. What shocked and made everyone unbelievable was that Huaxian remained calm. At the last moment, he turned around. He stretched out a hand and a burst of pure power erupted. The space in front of him was visibly distorted. The world-destroying reincarnation slash also fell on the distorted space. Boom boom. The deafening roar continued. The whole audience was shocked. The world-destroying reincarnation slash was actually unable to break through the defense that was casually set up by humans. It looks like he's controlling pure power and building a layer of defense. But it's so terrifying. It was at this time that someone noticed that Huaxian's open palm suddenly pinched over. Then the world-destroying reincarnation slash that exuded the aura of destroying the world was actually wrapped in a layer of invisible force. The young man who performed this move found that he had lost contact with the attack. Phew! The powerful attack was forcibly cut off, causing his heart to be injured and blood to spurt out directly. Huaxian suddenly clenched his palm into a fist, blasting. But the slight sound, the world-destroying reincarnation slash was crushed and disappeared without a trace. A simple collision. It has brought people's understanding of Huaxian's strength to a new level. Besides fear, I was more curious about him. The ignoring girls discovered that this was the man they were looking for and pursuing. It's not over yet. Huaxian pointed at the young man and said, "It's rude not to reciprocate, lend me a move." It was just a casual pointing. However, the young man felt an extremely strong sense of danger of death. No! He roared and burst out with all his strength, trying to resist. Boom! The body exploded instantly and turned into blood mist and fell to the ground. Only a soul shadow was left there, and the expression was still shocked to the extreme. Huaxian said calmly, "I'm in a good mood and don't want your life." He looked around and continued, "Next time, whoever messes with me won't be so lucky." Anyone who was looked at by his eyes trembled violently and was terrified. Huaxian turned around, walked to the devil Xiaoting, hugged her and left. The whole audience watched in stunned silence. "Ani, that Song Mahan Abi is so pretty, can you really refuse her?" "I'm not afraid to tell you, if I were a man, I would have been moved by her just now. Her figure is simply amazing." The devil Xiaoting whispered in Huaxian's ear. Huaxian smiled and said, "If you like her, I will take her down." The devil Xiaoting screamed. Huaxian turned around and looked at Song Mao Naui in the distance and said, "What's your name, Naui? I always say that you are very good and pleasing to the eye. I want to ask if you are willing to be my wife." The whole audience was stunned. But no one thinks Huaxian is crazy. They were all conquered by his strength. Song Man Avi's body trembled. She bit her tongue and said angrily, "Huaxian, you are going too far. Do I mean that you are not qualified to pursue me?" Huaxian said, "Yes, I'll take the initiative then." He came to her in an instant and held her in his arms. Song Man Avi was stunned immediately. Huaxian took a bite and kissed her passionately. When Song Man Avi tried to resist, she was already pinned to the ground. Song Man Avi was scared to death. He turned his head as far as he could to avoid Huaxian's bite and yelled, "Asshole, how could you do this? How could you bully me?" He actually burst into tears. Huaxian then let her go, picked her up as a princess and said, "You were the one who said I didn't take the initiative. Now that I took the initiative, you said I bullied you. So what do you want me to do?" The whole audience was stunned by Huaxian's domineering attitude. Song Man Avi said angrily, "How do you express your feelings like this? What's the difference between this and raping me?" Huaxian said shamelessly, "I am who I am, a different firework. I am so outstanding. How can I be the same as others? That's why I'm so different that you proud beauties are obsessed with me. From now on, you are mine." "No," Song Man Avi said as if I was very angry. "But I was extremely curious. You don't want to shout, right? Then I will have to follow the family rules." Then he bit down again. Song Man Avi quickly dodged and shouted, "Husband, don't do this. There are so many people watching us." The whole audience was stunned. The blind date goddess Song Mao Naui, who had gone on more than 100 blind dates but never liked anyone, was won over just like that? Or he just took her by force? Do I need to use force to win over the goddess now? Huaxian held Song Mao Naui in his arms and came to Demon Xiaoting and said, "Wife, how about it? I brought her here. From now on, you two will be sisters. Brother-in-law is awesome. Matsuji Naui is one of the most difficult goddesses I know. I didn't expect you to win her so easily." The devil Xiu ran over and said, "Mantis Yi and Shanji Lun also followed behind." They looked at the excited demon Shuoi, who seemed to be hesitant to speak. After a while, the demon Shuoi finally realized what was going on and said loudly, "Oh, brother-in-law, can you please do me a favor?" The mysterious look made everyone curious. Huaxian also asked curiously, "What help?" I thought to myself, this girl is quite clever. I wonder what this is about. The devil Shuoi smiled and took Huaxian's arm and said, "Brother-in-law, it's a good thing it won't do you any harm. That's right, my two best friends, Mantis Yi and Shanji Lun, both wanna marry you and be your wife. Is this not too difficult?" The devil Xiaoting rolled her eyes and said, "Sister, are you just looking for a partner for your brother-in-law?" "Sister, how could I? I only have two good girlfriends like these. If we don't want to separate, then we can marry my brother-in-law together." Huaxian glanced at the two of them with a smile. Meeting Huaxian's gaze, the two of them lowered their heads shyly. He pulled at the corners of his clothes with both hands, feeling very nervous, very worried about being rejected. Hu Xian said, "Then for the sake of my sister-in-law, I will give you to a chance. However, whether you can gain my approval depends on your subsequent performance." "Thank you, Brother Xian." They were delighted. Although I was not accepted directly, at least I had a chance. It's amazing to think that blind date goddesses like Song Mao Wei were rejected many times before they succeeded. I feel that if I don't take the back door, I won't even have a chance. Thinking of this, I felt that the devil Shuoi was a great help. Okay, let's look around. After Hu Xian finished speaking, he took the ladder left. Song Man Abi was even held in his arms like a princess. Looking at Hu Xian, his eyes were full of curiosity. Soon we arrived at the central area of the blind date square. There are many blind date platforms here. Hu Xian looked around curiously and asked, "Is there a dating table here?" The devil Shuoi introduced. "Brother-in-law, this is the place for real blind dates. Those who are really eager to go on a blind date will spend money to buy a blind date platform and then publish more information to go on a blind date." Chapter 692, Chameleon She. Looking around, the blind date tables were almost all sold out, including good-looking and not-so-good-looking people, both men and women. "Hey, look, isn't that the dating goddess Song Mao Wei? Why is she being hugged by a human inferior slave princess?" A beautiful girl shouted in surprise. Many people looked over. "It's really Song Man Abi. What's wrong with her?" Immediately, countless people surrounded them. They ignored Hu Xian and looked at Song Man Abi. "Song Mao Wei, what's going on with you?" a beautiful lady asked curiously. Song Mayadavi looked around and said, "What else could it be? I was conquered by this guy." "What?" Everyone was shocked to hear what Song Ma'anabi said. "Song Ma'anabi, are you kidding me? This guy is an inferior slave of the human race. Will you be conquered by him?" Song Ma'anabi sneered. "Inferior slave, it only takes one finger for him to kill you." The young man who asked the question was stunned. And he said distaffingly, "If he can kill me with one finger, I deserve it. If he can't kill me, you will be my woman. Do you dare?" Song Ma'anabi bit her head and said, "You have to discuss this with my husband. I can't make the decision." The young man immediately cast a cold gaze on Hu Xian and said contemptuously, "Boy, do you dare to duel with me? A battle of life and death?" Hu Xian said distaffingly, "You don't deserve it." The young man was stunned. Then he laughed wildly and said, "Inferior human slave. You must recognize your status. If you dare to be so arrogant again, I will kill you directly." Hu Xian looked around and asked, "Can we kill people here?" A young man who looked very impressive said, "As long as you are strong enough, you can kill people and rape them." Hu Xian nodded. He looked at the young man suddenly, murderous intent bursting out. A punch was thrown. The young man's expression changed drastically, but he was too late to take any other action. Boom! Head exploded. Hu Xian pinched his fingers in the air. Grab the ethereal soul and exert force suddenly. Don't want. The young man's soul crushed him with a desperate roar. The whole audience was stunned with horror. That young man was at the first level of Divine Emperor. How could he be killed so easily? Isn't this human being at the peak level of God King? The most shocking thing is that this human race really hated him and killed him directly after questioning him. The young man who told him the rules was also shocked. I was frightened by Hu Xian's ruthlessness. Hu Xian looked around and asked with a smile, "Is there a next one? By the way, girls, you have to stay away from me. Otherwise I might. Handsome boy, please fuck me." But as soon as he finished speaking, a beautiful woman rushed over. What's even more outrageous is that he grabbed Hu Xian's hand and placed it on her chest. It was Hu Xian's turn to be shocked by such initiative. There are so many people watching here. Isn't this girl too open-minded? Girl, respect yourself. I don't like people like you who are too proactive. He pushed her away violently, but he secretly exclaimed that it felt really good. He subconsciously looked at Song Mao Wei in his arms, with her hands hanging around his neck. Understanding Hu Xian's eyes, Song Mao quickly jumped down and hid behind Hu Xian. In response, Hu Xian grinned and thought, "I will catch you when I get back." Since no one came to him, Hu Xian walked forward, looking around curiously along the way. Almost all people's eyes fell on him. Suddenly, an extremely ugly guy caught Hu Xian's attention. His face was full of scars and it was hard to tell whether he was a man or a woman. There was no one within a 10-meter radius of his blind date location, which made it very different. When Hu Xian walked over, he also attracted a lot of people's attention. They all looked at it curiously. He wouldn't have a unique taste and fall for that extremely ugly woman, would he? Someone couldn't help but mutter. Perhaps. Hu Xian has arrived at this unique blind date platform. Look at the blind date candidate's profile. Race, chameleon. Name, Chameleon Shi. Age, 49,999 years old. Gender, female. Assets, 500 billion demon crystals. Strength, Divine Emperor level 1. Background, Lone Walker. Number of blind dates, 381. Blind date requirements. Men. It's that simple. Huaxian looked at the 381 blind dates and it was not difficult to see how unpopular she was. Transparent eyes. Huaxian wanted to see if this Chameleon Shi was really that ugly. Under the transparent eyes, Chameleon Shi's face was foggy and unclear. From this, Huaxian can be sure that this Chameleon Shi is not simple. This is, as a powerful god emperor, what is she doing here on a blind date? So he sat down at the Chameleon Shi's blind date location. The people around were shocked when they saw this scene. Someone exclaimed, "Is he really attracted to the ugly Chameleon Shi?" Chameleon Shi was originally resting with his eyes closed. But when he felt someone sitting opposite him, he opened his eyes. He looked at Huaxian and then asked, "Do you want to go on a blind date with me?" The voice was hoarse, more like a man's. Huaxian nodded and said, "Your uniqueness has deeply aroused my curiosity. As for me, I'm not the type to talk nonsense or beat around the bush. Just tell me, are you willing to be my wife?" What? The whole audience was shocked to hear Huaxian's direct and domineering words. And I admired Huaxian's courage and taste. An ugly woman like Chameleon Shi makes people want to vomit when they see her. And he actually asked if I was willing to be his wife right away. That was really strong. Chameleon Shi was also stunned. And he looked at Huaxian seriously, as if trying to see through him. I was confused. This guy is so direct, could it be that he sees through me? It shouldn't be like this, even the eyes of truth can't see through my disguise. Is it really because he has a unique taste that he is so direct? Huaxian asked, "Why, you don't want to? I see that your requirement is just the word man. As a real man, I have no problem being your husband, right?" Hearing Huaxian's question, Chameleon Shi frowned even more. After a long while, he asked, "I want to know why you like me when I'm so ugly." Huaxian smiled and said, "Because I am a unique man. The things I do and the decisions I make are definitely not the same as others. And you, everyone looks down on you, despises you, and hates you, but I'm going to go against their will and take you down." Chameleon Shi once again stared at Huaxian, staring into his eyes. Huaxian always looked at him with a smile on his face. "You're crazy, actually pursuing Chameleon Shi." Yes. I couldn't believe my ears. What's wrong with this world? The shocked people around finally reacted at this time and started talking about it. Suddenly someone said in shock, "Didn't you notice that after more than 300 blind dates, Chameleon Shi was finally pursued by someone, but she didn't agree directly?" Chapter 693, Stop right there. Chameleon Shi shook her head and said, "Sorry, I'm not interested in you." What? A whole audience was shocked and couldn't believe it. Not only did Chameleon Shi not agree, he actually refused directly. What is going on? Everyone thought that Chameleon Shi should have agreed, but he ended up refusing. It's incredible. Huaxian smiled, nodded, turned and left. As for Chameleon Shi, he was just curious and didn't say he had to take it down. Besides, if the other person is really ugly, it would not be a good thing to get her. Turn around and leave. Chameleon Shi frowned. She always felt that Huaxian approached her because he saw through something. Now it seems not. After a while, Huaxian had walked away. Look, that's the national goddess Coroyao. She actually showed up at the dating plaza. What's going on? Countless people, both men and women, looked over. When they saw Coroyao, they were all stunned by her stunning beauty and perfect figure. Even the women were stunned. Coroyao was alone and had no followers. People walking along the way consciously made way. Don't dare to blaspheme the Coroyao. It's a pleasure to look at. And I can't bear to destroy it. Soon, Coroyao walked in front of Huaxian and the others. However, Huaxian did not give way, so Coroyao had to stop and look at Huaxian coldly. Along the way, everyone took the initiative to give way to him. But now this guy refused to do so. The people around held their breath when they saw this scene, eager to know what kind of collision would happen next. "Who are you and what do you want to do?" Coroyao spoke first, his voice sounding like the sound of an immortal. It makes people around them deeply involved and unable to extricate themselves. Huaxian was also surprised by the other person's voice, which was indeed beautiful. He said calmly, "I go my way. You go your way, so why should I do anything?" Such an answer surprised Coroyao. Then he said coldly, "But you are blocking my way." Huaxian looked around and said, "The road is so wide, you can take a detour in one step." "I, Coroyao, have never given way to anyone before," he said coldly. Huaxian sneered, "If you're not in a hurry, and don't let me as it happens, I'm not in a hurry either." Having said that, he shamelessly sat down on the spot. This scene made everyone around nervous. Looking at Coral Yao, wanting to know what he would do. After hesitating for a while, Coral Polyp Yao jumped up and tried to jump over Huaxian's head. Huaxian smiled coldly, and with a thought, the space above his head instantly solidified. Coral Yao felt the pure fluctuation of power and had a bad feeling in his heart. But I didn't see where the problem was, so I kept it a secret. Ding dong. It hit a transparent energy barrier. I thought this guy was going to launch a sneak attack. But it turned out not to be the case. He didn't use his remaining strength and was knocked unconscious and fell down. It was about to fall on Huaxian. He suppressed the dizziness, took a spiral, moved to a distance, and stared at Huaxian with a frown. He asked coldly, "What do you mean by not letting me go?" The people who were moving were stunned. I really didn't expect that this human being would be so disrespectful to the national goddess. Huaxian sneered, "What do you mean I won't let you go? The road is so fast, but you don't want to take the main road and insist on jumping over my head. What do you mean by that?" Coral Yao frowned gloomily, thinking about what to do. Then a plan came up. He looked at the people around him and said, "Whoever helps me deal with him, I will give him my contact information." Countless people were excited when they heard the contact information. There are only a handful of people who have the goddess's full name contact information. Not to mention making a date with her. Just having her contact information is an honor for many people. However, heart beating is heart beating. These people have all seen Huaxian's strength and are powerless to do anything. So no one took action yet. Seeing this, Coral Yaoshu looked around and asked, "What's wrong with you? Don't you want my contact information?" A young man smiled bitterly and said, "Goddess Chong Yao, it's not that we don't want your contact information, but this human race is too powerful, no one here can match him." Hearing this, Coral Worm Yao looked at Huaxian's ID card. Then he exclaimed, "Age 23? Very shocked. These people just now all said that he was very powerful, but how come he's only 23? I really can't understand it." He looked around and asked, "Are you sure he's good at 23? "We are sure." Almost in unison. Seeing that everyone answered in such a tacit agreement, Coral Yao didn't seem to be lying, so he looked at Huaxian in silence. "But I still can't believe it." After a while, he said to Huaxian, "Huaxian, you are very good, right?" Huaxian smiled slightly. "Average, third in the world. Look, I know a guy who is also very powerful. If you can defeat him, I will give you my contact information." I thought, since you are so arrogant, it would be better for you to suffer a little loss. If you are good and can make that guy suffer, you will win no matter how you look at it. Huaxian said coldly, "Sorry, I'm not interested in your contact information." Coral Yao was stunned. It was the first time she heard someone tell her face that they were not interested in her contact information. He asked, in disbelief, "Do you know that if you have my contact information, you can ask me out and have the opportunity to pursue me?" Huaxian smiled and said, "Let me correct you. It's not that I'm not interested in your contact information. It's that I'm not interested in you either. Also, please don't think so highly of yourself and think so poorly of me. To tell you the truth, it's always the beautiful women who pursue me." Coral Yao was stunned. This was the first time I encountered this situation and I didn't know how to deal with it. The people around were also stunned. After a long time, I couldn't help but admire Huaxian's vision. Even the goddess of life, Yao the Coral, could directly refuse. How many people dream of holding her photo? At this time, Huaxian stood up, walked around Coral Polyp Yao, and strode away without even looking at him. This attitude actually attracted the attention of Coral Yao. The surrounding area was in an uproar. How strange, this guy just confessed to the ugly female chameleon she and was rejected. And now he is actively rejecting the national goddess Coral Polyp Yao. That's right, I can't figure out what this guy is thinking. When Coral Worm Yao heard this, his body trembled and he was filled with anger. Like the ugly female chameleon Long, she took the initiative to confess her feelings. But she actually said that she was not interested in herself. What is this? Is it possible that I, the goddess of the whole nation, am worse than an ugly freak? The more I think about it, the angrier I get. I couldn't help but yell, "Huaxian, stop right there." Huaxian didn't give him any face and continued to leave. Coral Yao was so angry that he ran after him. Chapter 694. Do you believe it? The whole audience was shocked. The goddess of all nations is actually actively pursuing a human being? Everyone rushed over and waited to see what was going on. Coral Yao trotted in front of Huaxian and blocked his way. He asked angrily, "Say it again, are you interested in me? I'll go." What's going on? Isn't Coral Yao interested in this guy? People around heard this. It totally exploded. Huaxian looked puzzled and said, "What can I say about you? You are still quite good looking. I can't say that I have no interest in you. Why, are you going to confess to me? You're dreaming. I just want to know why you confessed to the ugly chameleon she instead of to me. Uxian smiled and said, of course there is a reason for this. Sorry, I can't reveal the specific reason. You bastard. What other reason could there be for you to confess? Are you a pervert who prefers ugly girls to pretty ones? Uxian glanced at her ID card and said seriously, Miss Koroyao, I'm not afraid to tell you that chameleon she is definitely better than you. When these words were spoken, everyone in the audience was confused. Recalling chameleon she carefully. I thought, it's not particularly long? How can she be better than the national goddess? Koroyao was stunned for a while. Then he sneered and said, come with me, I want to see how chameleon she is better than me. He actually grabbed Huxian and left. This was something no one expected. After a while, the whole place was in an uproar. Oh my god, this is the first time I see the goddess of the nation holding a man's hand. And she took the initiative to hold hands. Nonsense. Everyone has seen it for the first time, to be honest. I have never even seen Koroyao holding a girl's hand. Huxian jogged along with Koroyao, feeling her cool touch. He felt refreshed. It's an indescribable feeling, like holding something very comfortable and being reluctant to throw it away. Along the way, countless people who saw this scene were stunned. Koroyao didn't care about the discussions of those people after they were shocked. He just couldn't accept that someone didn't like him and liked an ugly guy. Soon they arrived at Chameleon She's blind date location. Chameleon She was also attracted by such a huge movement. Look over curiously. I recognized the national goddess Koroyao at first sight. I was stunned when I saw her holding the hand of the guy who confessed his love to me. I can't figure it out. ISNT Koroyao, the goddess of the nation. Very demanding. Why did she fall for this guy? I thought they had already confirmed their relationship. Otherwise it is hard to understand why such a goddess of the whole nation would be associated with a male rival. Coral Wormyao took Huxian and went straight to Chameleon She. Seeing this scene, Chameleon She became curious. When Coral Yao pulled Huxian closer, he asked first, National Goddess, are you in love? Yao, the coral polyp, shook Huxian's hand away and said, what the hell is this? Then he said, this guy said you are better than me. And I can't understand, what is your excellence? Hearing this, Chameleon She looked at Huxian with surprise. I wondered if this guy really saw through me. Otherwise why would he tell Koroyao that he was better than her? He said it, why don't you ask him? Chameleon She said. Koroyao said, I brought him here just to confront him. He said to Huxian, come on, tell me, how is Chameleon She better than me? Huxian smiled and said, need I say that? She's better than you in every way. Otherwise, why do you think I would confess to her? Chameleon She frowned and asked in a deep voice. I don't even know what I am good at, please tell me. Koroyao hurriedly said, did you hear that? Speak quickly. Huxian smiled and said, haven't you heard of a saying? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I like you, so in my eyes you are the best. And no one can compare to you. The whole audience was stunned. Everyone is curious and wants to know, in what way is Chameleon She better than Coral Polyp Yao? As a result, it is said that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. The question is, Chameleon She is so ugly, what on earth does this guy like about him? Coral Yao also couldn't figure it out, so he asked. I'm very curious, what is it about Chameleon She that attracts you to like her so much? Moreover, because she belittled me. Chameleon She finally understood why Coral Polyp Yao brought this guy to find him. It turns out that he was not convinced. He smiled and said to Huxian, tell me, I want to know too. Huxian looked at her with a smile and said, do you think you will be my partner if I say so? Chameleon She was stunned for a moment. Then said, I am so ugly, and I think I am not worthy of you. Why do you have to pursue me? I even suspect that you deliberately provoked and angered Koroyao and used him as a springboard to get closer to me. When everyone heard this and thought about it carefully, it seemed to be the case. Koroyao became even more angry. How could he use her as a springboard? He said angrily, Huxian, you used me, you are so despicable. I thought to myself, how can you use me like this as a goddess of the whole nation? I feel extremely wronged. Huxian shook his head and denied it. Koroyao, you're going too far by saying that I used you. We met because you didn't want to take a detour. Not because I took the initiative to approach you. You're talking nonsense. You must have known that I would never take a detour. So you did this, you calculated everything to pieces. Why would I plot against you? Huxian asked. Need I say that? It's all to get closer to Chameleon She. Huxian smiled and said. Everyone knows that Chameleon She is notoriously ugly. Countless people try to avoid her, how could I use you to get close to her? Nonsense, you confessed to her and got rejected, so you were unwilling to accept it. So you took advantage of me. Huxian shook his head and said. No, you misunderstood me. I confessed to Chameleon She because I knew she would definitely reject me. That's why I confessed to her. You must all be wondering why I did this. To be honest, I am a very vain person. The purpose of doing this is to shock everyone so that I can show that I am different from others. So, you were just teasing me when you confessed to me? Chameleon She asked angrily. Huaxian denied, that's not entirely true. After all, if you really agree, then I can only bite the bullet and accept you. It can also achieve the sensational effect I expected. So it's not a loss. However, everything is going as I expected. Coral Yao was an accident, to be honest. She's such a beautiful girl. Who would believe me if I said I didn't like her? He looked around and asked loudly. Do you believe it? Everyone answered in unison. No. Chapter 695, Invincible Beauty. Huaxian smiled and looked at the two of them and said. You all saw it. Of course, being able to hold hands with the national goddess Coral Budyao was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect to be treated so well. You are shameless. Coral Yao was furious. He was filled with murderous intent and wished he could kill Huaxian. Huaxian quickly said, How am I shameless? You did everything voluntarily. And everyone was watching. I never threatened you. Are you just kidding me? Chameleon She was also very angry. Huaxian hurriedly said, Misunderstanding. I'm not kidding you. I told you, if you really agree to my confession, I will definitely take responsibility to the end. If you don't believe me, you can promise me to give it a try. Chameleon She was stunned for a moment. Looking at Huaxian, I always feel that this guy has something conspiracy. Coral Yao said angrily, You said you weren't using me to get close to Chameleon She, but now you're still trying to pick her up. Huaxian smiled and said, You're wrong now. I want to join you in the fun too. Since we're holding hands now, why don't you just follow me? You're dreaming. Even if all the men in the world were dead, I, Coral Yao, would not fall in love with you. After saying that, he said to Chameleon She, Don't agree to this bastard's pursuit. Chameleon She said in a deep voice, I never thought of agreeing to him. Huaxian suddenly asked, Chameleon She, I'm really confused. Everyone knows that you are ugly, but almost no one confesses their love to you. Under these circumstances, if I confess my feelings to you, almost everyone would think you would agree. But you rejected me. I'm curious why you rejected me. After that, he looked around and asked, Are you curious? Curious. Everyone shouted in unison. Being led by him. Chameleon She said coldly, Because you are not worthy of me. Huaxian smiled, looked at Coral Polypiao and said, See, this is why she is better than you. Coral Yao frowned, thinking for a long time but still couldn't figure it out. So he simply asked, How is she better than me? Because she is confident? Look at her, she is so ugly, yet she is so confident to tell me that she doesn't like you. Have you ever seen someone so confident in this situation? Coral Polypiao thought about it carefully and realized that he had never seen one before. Then he said to Huaxian, You keep doing this and that. I understand now. You are just using me to help you pull it back. What are you pulling? Huaxian asked as if he didn't understand anything. You are using me to find out more about Chameleon She. Huaxian smiled and said, To be honest, aren't you curious about Chameleon She? Coral Yao was silent. She was really curious about this ugly woman. My initial curiosity was, how could she have the courage to come to the blind date square when she was so ugly? And I became curious about how long she could last. Now I wonder why she rejected this shameless and hateful guy. And he looked at Chameleon She and said, I am indeed curious about why you rejected this guy. I want to know the real answer. Chameleon She smiled and said, The best answer is to look down on him. Huaxian suddenly said, To be honest, Chameleon She's current appearance is a disguise. Her true appearance is even more beautiful than you. You finally told the truth? Chameleon She said subconsciously. I thought this guy really saw through me, so he confessed to me. But her subconscious words shocked everyone around her. He stared at her with incredulous eyes. After a while, Coral Yao asked, So, your appearance has always been a disguise? Only then did Chameleon She realize that he had let the cat out of the bag because he was too excited. Hesitated for a while. I thought since everyone has seen through it, there is no need to hide it anymore. Then under the watchful eyes of everyone, he put his hands on his chin and began to tear off his disguise. A whole audience stared at Chameleon She. I was shocked that her current ugly appearance was just a disguise. I'm also curious about what she looks like in disguise. Coral Yao was stunned. He didn't expect that Chameleon She really had a big secret. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Chameleon She tore off his disguise bit by bit. When half of that peerless beauty was revealed, I stayed shocked. Someone exclaimed, It's beautiful. That's right, just showing half of her face is enough to shock people. Coral Yao, who is noticed the goddess, was also shocked. I thought my appearance was unique in the world. Now I was shocked when I saw half of Chameleon She's face. When Chameleon Shi's entire face came into people's sight, her pure bare face made everyone stunned. They were all stunned by Xilong Shi's peerless beauty. Huaxian is no exception. He just guessed that Chameleon Shi's ugliness was probably a disguise. I never thought that the real Chameleon Shi would be so beautiful. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. If I really have to describe it in one word, it would be invincible beauty. Not only her appearance, at this moment, Chameleon Shi's figure is also changing, becoming more and more perfect. After a while, a brand new Chameleon Shi appeared in everyone's sight. Everyone was stunned. Ding mission, within 10 days. Take Chameleon Shi as the heroine and get a god-level reward. Within 30 days, take Chameleon Shi as the heroine and get a god-level reward. Within 3 months, take Chameleon Shi as the heroine and get a god-level reward. If the mission fails, all levels of the host's gene realm will be deducted. The sudden appearance of the task stunned Huaxian. Although the rewards are rich, the difficulty can also be seen from it. The most important thing is, if you can't get it, you'll have to start all over again. Everyone in the audience couldn't recover for a long time. The same is true for Coriao. Huaxian walked up to Chameleon Shi with a smile and asked, "What conditions do I need to pursue you?" Chameleon Shi smiled. "It has made countless people numb and fall into fantasy. Anyone who wants to pursue me has a chance, but you don't." "What?" Huaxian was stunned. I asked depressed Lai, "Why am I the only one who doesn't have it?" I thought, if the system wasn't mine, I would have thought you knew there was a difficult task. Because I hate people like you who are so philandering. And you exposed me, so there's no way I'm going to give you the slightest chance. Am I fickle? Huaxian asked back. Look at how many women are around you. That doesn't even include the ones from other places, right? Really, I feel sick when I see a philandering man like you. These words dealt a heavy blow to Huaxian. If it wasn't a system task, he would have really turned around and left. I just can't believe that in such a big universe, there is only one invincible beauty like Chameleon Shi. Chapter 696, Fate. Coriao, who had reacted, looked at Huaxian and sneered. Huaxian asked speechless Lai, "Why are you sneering?" "I laugh at your wild imagination. Wanting to pursue an invincible beauty like Chameleon Shi." Huaxian said, "No matter how wild my imagination is, it was me who discovered that she is an invincible beauty. You have been with her for a long time, right? Have you discovered anything? So what if you found out she rejected you when you were ugly? And you don't have the slightest chance now." Huaxian said depressed Lai. "Even if I don't have a chance, I won't fall in love with you." "You?" Coriao was very angry. Chameleon Shi couldn't help but say. "Coriao should look down on you. That's right. I don't like you." And he said to Chengli Yuanian and the others behind Huaxian, "Girls, I advise you to stay away from this guy too." The demon Shuoi said loudly, "Thank you for your kindness. But I still like my brother-in-law. How about you, sister?" Demon Shao Ting said firmly, "Marry a chicken. Follow the chicken, marry a dog, follow the dog." And that is Huaxian. Huaxian smiled faintly and said, "Don't underestimate my personal charm. Which of the women who follow me is not willing?" Yi Yuanyan, what about you? The devil Shuoi asked loudly. Chenglu Yuanian said, "We are good friends, of course I believe you. I will marry him if you marry him." "Me too." Seeing that they didn't listen to advice, Coriao said coldly, "If you don't listen to advice, you will suffer sooner or later." After saying this, he said to the chameleon Longshi, "Sister Longshi, let's go have a meal together." The latter nodded. The two of them left, just like that. They were gone for a long time before the people around them reacted. "Oh my god, am I hallucinating? The ugly chameleon Longshi is actually an invincible beauty? It's not an illusion. I saw it to she, as so beautiful. Beyond words, she is absolutely an invincible beauty." The whole place was in an uproar. Huaxian said in a depressed mood, "Let's go, let's find a place to eat." "Husband, are you in a bad mood?" asked the devil shouting. The devil Shuoi said first. "Of course, where is the invincible beauty? Even a girl like me wants to achieve enlightenment. But then again, if my brother-in-law really takes her down, we will have an invincible beauty by our side. What a feast for the eyes. So brother-in-law, you have to keep going. I support you." The devil shouting rolled her eyes when she heard this. Huaxian smiled bitterly and said, "I have to work harder even if I don't want to. I will definitely win over Chameleon Shi." "TSK, you're dreaming. I've made it so clear that you'd rather marry me than you." A young man heard Huaxian's words and started to retort. "He has been dreaming, but I have to admit that he has a unique vision. If he hadn't seen through Chameleon Shi, we wouldn't have known that she was an invincible beauty. Yes, speaking of this matter, I really want to thank him." On site frying pan. Hu Xian no longer had the mood to stay in the blind date square and strode away. Not long after he walked, a young man wearing glasses blocked his way. "Brother, you have such a good eye, can you do me a favor?" "No." Hu Xian refused directly. The young man with glasses did not give up and continued to block Hu Xian and said, "Brother, as long as you help me with this, I will tell you where Chameleon she lives." Hu Xian stopped immediately. "Haven't spoken yet." The young man nearby said, "Brother, what can I do for you? I'll help you, and then you tell me where Chameleon she lives." "Roll." Hu Xian roared with an explosive aura. The guy was so scared that his expression changed drastically and he ran away crawling. Only then did I remember that this human race was a vicious person. The young man with glasses then said, "I like a girl. She is not good looking either. I want you to help me see if she is really ugly or just pretending like Chameleon she." "Okay," led the way. Hu Xian agreed readily. The young man with glasses was also very excited. "Brother, come with me." Followed the young man with glasses and left the blind date square. The fact that Chameleon she is an invincible beauty has long been spread in Mowu City. Most people don't believe it, after all, they haven't seen it with their own eyes. They all thought it was a rumor. Hu Xian and his friends followed the young man with glasses all the way to the magic restaurant. Eamon Shiwoi said, "Brother-in-law, Magic Restaurant is the largest restaurant in our Magic Martial City. The food is also the best in Magic Martial City, but it is very expensive." Hu Xian said casually, "The most delicious. It's not as delicious as what I cook." "Brother-in-law, you can also cook?" The devil Shiwoi looked unconvinced. Hu Xian said confidently, "More than just being able to cook. I'm an unrivaled super god-level chef." "Brother-in-law, are you bragging? You are busy practicing, how do you have time to practice cooking?" The devil Shiwoi didn't believe it at all. Hu Xian smiled and said, "I understand your little thoughts, I will cook for you when I have the chance. Brother-in-law, although I don't trust your cooking skills, I will still eat it if you really cook it yourself." As he spoke, he had already walked into the magic restaurant. The young man with glasses quickly walked to the bar, handed over to Times the Demon Crystal Essence and asked, "Excuse me, where is the stork in red?" "You again? Stork Red has rejected you countless times, and you still come?" The young man with glasses smiled bitterly and said, "I just like her, please tell me. She's upstairs waiting on guests." "Thank you. Brothers, let's go upstairs." After saying this to Hu Xian, he led the way and was very familiar with the magic restaurant. When he reached the entrance of the building, he threw a nano-space device to the waiter who was blocking his way and said, "Give us a table of good wine and good food." After saying that, he went upstairs carelessly. Hu Xian and the others followed behind. Walk out of the building and look around. Hu Xian was stunned. I didn't expect that Chameleon she and Coral Polypiao were also eating here. However, both of them are now wearing masks, the kind that allow their mouths to be exposed so as not to affect their eating. The two of them also looked over and saw that it was Hu Xian. Coral Yao said with disgust, "It's really a sinister ghost." The young man with glasses saw the woman in red he liked was sitting next to Coral Yao and her friend's table. Walked over excitedly. There was only that woman in his eyes. Hu Xian has already sensed the disgust that Coral Yao and the others have for him. But in order to achieve his goal, he has no choice but to go forward. "I saw Hu Xian coming over," Coral Yao said directly. "You are really shameless, you actually followed Zhang here." Hu Xian smiled awkwardly and said, "Maybe this is fate." "What the hell is fate? Who is destined to be with you? You are so shameless." Coral Yao became even more angry when he thought about the fact that he held her hand. Seeing that Hu Xian didn't follow him, the young man with glasses whispered, "Brother, this way." Hu Xian said to the two of them, "I have something to do, let's talk later." TSK, dream on. Who wants to talk to you? Chapter 697, GEFE is in trouble. Hu Xian walked over. Looking at Guan Hongyi, there was a huge birthmark on her face, which almost occupied 2/3 of her face. I opened my eyes of truth and examined it, and found that the birthmark was indeed fake. Cobra Lin whispered in Hu Xian's ear, "Brother, how are you?" Hu Xian smiled and said, "As you wish. The birthmark on her face is fake." The young man with glasses was extremely excited. He grabbed Guan Hongyi's hand and said, "Hongyi, I knew you were lying to me. The birthmark on your face is obviously fake." Guan Hongyi shook off the bespectacled young man's hand in disgust, glared at Hu Xian and said, "Yes, it's fake. The purpose is to reject you. Have I, Hongyi Guan, made it clear enough? I don't like you. Please don't bother me anymore." The young man with glasses trembled violently, his face full of disbelief. After a while, he asked with a sad face, "Stork Hongyi, tell me, are you kidding me?" Stork Hongyi said with disgust, "I'm telling you loudly again, I don't like you. Go away. I feel sick just by looking at you." Stork Hongyi, don't forget that I was the one who saved you. The young man with glasses finally exploded. Stork Hong Yi said coldly, Cobra Lin, don't think I don't know that I was in danger because of your conspiracy. The purpose is to get close to me. To tell you the truth. If you hadn't done this, I wouldn't be so disgusted with you. Cobra Lin's body trembled, and he asked angrily, how did you know? Did Hao Lin Jun tell you? It doesn't matter who told me. What matters is that I see through what kind of person you are. Well, store cred, now that you've exposed me, I don't need to pretend anymore. Today I'm asking you if you are willing to be my woman. No? Stork in red refused very loudly. Okay, that's great. Don't blame me for being forceful then. After saying this, Cobra Lin actually started to take action. Too much. Gora Yao cursed and attacked directly. Bang! With one kick, Cobra Lin was kicked away. And he looked at Huaxian viciously and asked, is this the friend of someone like you? Huaxian touched his nose and did not explain. He walked towards Cobra Forest and asked, I have done what I promised you. Now it's time to tell me what you want to know, right? Cobra Lin said loudly, Chameleon, she lives in Sen Huan Yaju. All the guests upstairs knew Huaxian's purpose. Chameleon, she frowned. Huaxian also frowned and said coldly, if you play with me like this, don't blame me for being cruel. Buzz. An extremely powerful force exploded. And the surrounding space was extremely distorted. What was shocking was that it did not break. It is hard to imagine to what extent this human has control over power. The extremely distorted space instantly enveloped the Cobra Forest. It made him extremely frightened. I finally realized that I was too angry and did something extremely stupid. Please spare my life, sir. I know I was wrong and I will never do it again. Huaxian didn't give him any chance. The distorted space engulfed him. The body exploded instantly, without leaving any blood mist. And everything turned to ashes. Huaxian withdrew his hand and the space gradually returned to normal. He found a random seat and sat down. Everyone in the audience stared at him in shock. Coral Yao said with disgust, you are just exaggerating. You can easily kill him, but you insist on pretending. What a hypocritical guy. Ding, the heroine is in trouble. In an instant, the scene of the heroine Gefei suffering entered Huaxian's mind. In my mind, Gefei was tortured beyond recognition. An arrow, carrying the power of destruction, is about to explode in the head. There are many other women in distress around her. Boom. This scene made Huaxian explode instantly. A terrifying realm of the 100th level of the Divine Emperor. At this moment, swept over without any suppression. Bundle. Houses within 1,000 miles collapsed in an instant. No matter what kind of defense it is, it can't withstand the slightest bit. Advent. When countless people feel they are about to perish. Huaxian moved instantly and landed next to the heroine Gefei. Ubby, I'm sorry, Gefei is useless. Gefei has embarrassed you. Duffy muttered in despair. Silly, you are great and brave. A familiar voice sounded beside her ears. Gefei turned her head sharply and asked in surprise. Honey, is it really you? Huaxian grinned. Silly, who else but me? And all the arrows in front of them were frozen in the air. Countless people's eyes fell on Huaxian. With just one thought from Huaxian, terrifying power flowed. Boom boom boom. A black iron chains that bound Gefei, and the others were all broken. Gefei and the others were all rescued. Gefei threw herself into Huaxian's arms. Tears streaming down her face with excitement. The others were so shocked that they remained tied up and stared at Huaxian. Don't cry, your husband will take care of it for you. He turned suddenly and looked at those people. One look, carrying the terrifying murderous intent to kill everything, plunged them all into hell. He wanted to escape but found that his body was not his own and he had no control over it. Huaxian stuffed a sword into Gefei's hand. It was the spirit sword that he had made himself. Go ahead and kill them. Gefei rushed forward with endless hatred. These people were suppressed by Huaxian and could not move at all. Gefei killed one person with his sword, just like chopping carrots and vegetables. And one person fell down with each sword. Their souls are still frozen. Huaxian pointed his finger and lightning flashed away. Amid the roar, the souls of these people were destroyed in despair. Please spare my life, sir. Please spare my life, sir. Please spare me. Those who are timid and afraid of death have begun to beg for mercy. But no one pitied them. Ill. The woman who suffered the same misfortune as Gefei looked at Huaxian with gratitude. And then rushed forward regardless of the consequences. He swung his sword and slashed at the enemy's body, venting all his anger. These enemies who were so rampant before are now in despair and full of regret. Defeat the master in less than 3 minutes. They were killed by these crazy women. Led by Gefei, they all came in front of Huaxian. Husband. Gefei threw herself into Huaxian's arms again and started crying. Silly boy, you are now a queen in charge of your own affairs. How can you be so polite? I didn't cry, I just missed my husband so much. After a while, she introduced them to Huxian, husband. These are the sisters I trained. Unfortunately, more sisters were killed by this group of evil bandits. How did you end up fighting these bandits? Husband? These bandits are doing all kinds of evil, and we are here to punish them. Okay, then I support you. But the finger pointed at Gefei's forehead. Her cultivation level suddenly improved by leaps and bounds, and in an instant, she reached the realm of Divine Emperor. His sisters were all stunned. I thought to myself, the man that Sister Gefei was talking about was not bragging. He really is so terrifying. Chapter 698, Demonic Dragon's Spiritual Vein. Finished upgrading Gefei. Huxian looked at the dozens of women at the scene. I don't know if Gefei did it on purpose, but each of these women is as beautiful as a flower and very attractive. The main thing is that after enduring torture, their naked bodies have not yet been clothed. At first glance, it is very tempting, stealing Huxian's gaze. They looked at themselves curiously. Someone screamed first and quickly covered his vital parts. Huxian chuckled and stretched out his hands. It looked like dozens of pure genetic powers were released. In fact, they used the system to strengthen their cultivation. In just a few seconds, their cultivation bases all rose to the peak level of God King. Each and every one of them felt the real power of cultivation, stared at his breathing in shock, and forgot that they were not wearing any clothes. Huxian looked at Gefei and said, "Wife, you can handle the next thing by yourself. I'm leaving first." Husband? Before Gefei could finish what she was about to say, Huxian had disappeared from the spot. Sister, is he really your husband? So scary. Wouldn't it be terrifying if their cultivation was instantly raised to the peak of the God King level? Gefei said proudly, "Yes, he is my husband." This side of Mou City. Huxian returned to the original place, and at this moment, it was already a ruin. It only took a few minutes to go back and forth. Countless people have not yet recovered from the shock of the sudden disaster. Feel that Huxian is back. Coral Yao and the others all looked at him. Husband. The devil shouting and the others shouted and surrounded them. They were still extremely shocked in their hearts. They didn't expect that their husbands were so powerful that they were beyond their imagination. Husband, what happened just now that made you so angry and anxious? Asked the devil shouting. The others also looked at him with curiosity. Huxian told the truth. One of my wife was in danger, and I just went over to deal with the matter. What's going on here? Huxian looked around and saw only ruins. He couldn't help but ask curiously. Devil shouting said speechless lie. Husband, it's because of your outburst of anger just now that the area within 1,000 miles has become a ruin because of your anger. I see, I'm really sorry. By the way, no one will come to trouble us. Right? Brother-in-law, your outburst has turned the base of the 48 demon clans into ruins. So we don't have to sneak in anymore. The demon Shuoi said speechless lie. Huxian's eyes lit up and he said, "What are you waiting for? Let's go to the headquarters of the 48 demon clans." After saying that, he took the lead and left. After walking a few steps and finding that he couldn't find the way, he said to the devil Shuoi, "Sister-in-law, what are you standing there for? Hurry up," and led the way. The devil Shuoi finally reacted. "Brother-in-law, come with me. Yi Yuan Yan, hurry up." Everyone followed the demon Shuoi. Chameleon Shi and Coral Polypiao looked at each other and followed. Long Shi, this guy seems to be really outstanding, Coral Yao couldn't help but say. Chameleon Shi smiled bitterly and said, "From the tone of your voice, it seems that you are moved." Coral Yao did not deny it and said, "Did you feel that breath just now? I feel that his combat power is not lower than the God Emperor level. More importantly, he is really only 23 years old, which is terrifying. If you like him, just take him," said Chameleon Shi. "Aren't you moved?" Chameleon Shi said nothing more. Soon, led by the demon Shuoi, a group of people came to the base of the 48 demon tribes in a mighty manner. Behind them there was a large group of people watching the show. These people have already heard from the conversation between Huxian and others just now that it was this human race that caused such great destructive power. So I am very curious, what is he doing in the base of the 48 demon clans? Right now, at the base of the 48 demon tribes, countless powerful men were flying high in the sky, each with a gloomy face. Someone angrily asked, "Who is targeting us?" "It shouldn't be targeting us after all. The area within 1,000 miles has become a ruin. This is the territory of our 48 demon clans. If they are not targeting us, then who are they targeting?" Huxian said calmly, "It's okay if you think it's directed at you." Everyone's eyes were on him. Human. Suddenly they were all disdainful. Huxian said coldly, "I don't like people standing over my head and talking to me." Boom. A powerful pressure erupts directly. Boom boom boom. The people of the 48 demon tribes fell to the ground like dumplings. One by one, they fell in a very miserable state. Only then did he believe that it was really Xiaocheng who did all this. It's unbelievable that a human being could be so terrifying. Human, what are you going to do? An old man asked angrily. Huaxian chuckled and said, I heard that there is a demon dragon spirit vein under the residence of your 48 demon tribes. I am quite curious and want to go and take a look. You lowly human. You dare to covet my dragon spirit veins? Are you tired of living? Boom. As soon as this guy finished speaking, his body exploded inexplicably. Everyone at the scene was frightened. Huaxian said coldly, my patience is limited if you continue to challenge my patience. Then I will kill you. I'll count to 3 if you don't take me to see the demon dragon spiritual vein. I'll have no choice but to kill you and find it myself. Such plain words made countless people feel scared. What devil? This human race looks more like a demon at this moment. Come with me. Not daring to challenge Huaxian's bottom line, the old man in the leg compromised in a deep voice. Huaxian took the lead and followed him. There were many people following behind him, and they were all curious about what the demon dragon spiritual vein looked like. Soon they arrived at a place protected by an energy shield. It is worth noting that this place was not affected by Huaxian's pressure. Here below is where the demon dragon's spiritual vein is. However, the formation here was set up by a powerful person from our clan, and we have no right to open it. I thought, if you want to see the demon dragon spiritual vein, then break the formation yourself. The idea just came to me. Huaxian pointed out. Boom! With a loud bang, the formation was broken. A vast demonic genetic aura suddenly rippled out. All the people from the 48 demon clans were stunned. The powerful formation that we were so proud of was broken with just one finger. What on earth is this guy? Could it be that these humans came from somewhere? Huaxian has taken the lead and walked into the cave. Countless people swarmed in out of curiosity. When descending 1,000 meters, boom! There came a sound like that of a storm. As Huaxian waved his hand, a moving formation covered all his men. The next moment, countless swarms of bats rushed out. Boom boom boom. The impact of the formation made a harsh sound. Those who don't have any formation defense can only fight hard. They couldn't move in this cave, and the bats were small but powerful. So they were put in a miserable state in an instant. Those with weak cultivation were eaten by bats in an instant, leaving only a skeleton. Chapter 699, Dragon Python. Even Chameleon Shi and Coral Polypiao were in a state of great distress. These bats are so small and have sharp teeth that they can easily tear through any defense. The key is that once you tear a hole, the entire body will turn into the body and devour the flesh and blood. Apart from sharp weapons, genetic power can do little harm to them. Damn it, this is a gene-destroying bat. It can ignore genetic power. If it enters your body, you will definitely die. Finally someone recognized him and shouted in despair. Run! Or people were scared to death when they saw the person in front of them fall down and turn into a skeleton. However, countless people behind blocked the entrance of the cave. And they didn't know what was happening, so none of them ran away. Therefore, it was impossible for the people in the cave to escape. On the other hand, Huaxian and his team were in the formation and were not in any danger. Even so, Chang Liu Yan and the others were horrified when they saw what happened to those people. I'm glad that I followed Huaxian in. Emelian Shi and Coral Polyt Yao each used their own methods to resist, but they were also on the verge of collapse. After hesitating for a long time, Coral Yao rushed towards Huaxian and his team's formation under pressure. I originally wanted to give it a try, but I didn't expect to rush in so easily. Boom boom boom. All the bats that were originally attacking him were blocked outside by the formation. I felt relieved immediately. Chameleon Shi, come in. He shouted to Chameleon Shi, who was struggling. The latter hesitated for a moment, but still rushed in. Quick, we can enter the formation. Those who were suffering terribly saw the two men rushing into Huaxian's formation and rushed over without caring about their lives. Boom boom boom. As a result, they were all blocked outside by the formation. It immediately became food for these bats. Chameleon Shi and Coral Polyt Yao looked at each other and then at Huaxian. Knowing that he was the one who let them in, Huaxian smiled and said, My dears, now that you are both inside, let's go deeper. Shut up, if you keep screaming, I'll kill you, Coral Yao threatened angrily. Huaxian chuckled and said, Kill me, not to mention that you don't have the ability to do so. Believe it or not, if I kick you out now, you will become the same as them. When the time comes, your beauty and pride will be of no use. Coral Yao's face instantly became extremely ugly. He said angrily, You can die, but I won't let you off easily. Just rush out. Ding dong. But it was blocked by the formation. He looked at Huaxian angrily and said, Let me out. Huaxian smiled bitterly and said, You really have a strong personality. However, the more you are like this, the more I like you. Now that you have entered my territory, if you still want to leave, you have to leave your body behind. Wu Xian appeared in front of him in an instant and hugged her in his arms. Guo Liao screamed in fear. He was extremely angry. You bastard, I will never let you succeed even if I die. He was going to self-destruct. I deeply regretted entering Hu Xian's defensive formation. Chameleon Shi in the distance also had an ugly expression on his face. So strong? But you should know that in the face of real strength, you are not even qualified to commit suicide. The violent energy in her body was easily suppressed. I suddenly felt extremely desperate. Hu Xian let her go and said, "Look at you, you look half dead, I was just joking with you." After saying that, he controlled the formation and walked towards the depths. The densely packed bats were squeezed apart by the formation. As they went deeper, countless bats began to attack the formation, making the formation flicker. Seeing this, everyone became extremely panicked. "If you don't get out of here, I will wipe out your entire clan." Hu Xian spoke in bat language. To the devil Shuoi and the others, it sounded like nonsense. A large blood-red bat flew over. "Look around the formation. Human, leave, this is our territory." Hu Xian asked, "Isn't there a demon dragon vein here?" "Yes there is, but that is our treasure." "What is he doing?" Tang Liuanian asked in shock. Demon Shuoi said, "My brother-in-law seems to be communicating with bats. He actually knows bat language. You have to know that the languages of different ethnic groups are not intelligible. As they have evolved from different ethnic groups, they can only communicate with their own close relatives." Hu Xian smiled and said, "I'm just taking a look, I don't have any improper thoughts about the demon dragon spiritual vein. Lowly human, do you think I'm as easy to fool as a 3-year-old child?" Boom! The Divine Emperor's level 100 lightning gene realm erupted. And terrifying lightning flashed around Hu Xian. The extremely powerful pressure of thunder and lightning shocked the demon Shuoi and the others to the extreme. Hu Xian said to the Bat King, "If you don't agree, then I will let lightning fill the entire cave." The thunder and lightning are so terrible, I'm afraid that except you, we will all die," said a bat. "Damn human," Wang roared angrily. "I'll count to 3 if you don't retreat, you'll be destroyed." 1. Boom. A huge thunder dragon swam around Hu Xian, ready to rush out at any time. 2. Retreat. Crash. All the bats retreated quickly. After a while, the whole cave became quiet. Hu Xian also put away his lightning gene. He casually put away the formation and said, "The crisis is over, let's go." Chameleon Shi couldn't help but say, "You could have done that a long time ago, why didn't you do it? Those people shouldn't have died." Hu Xian sneered, "Are those people qualified to come in here? If they come in out of curiosity, they should be prepared to bear the consequences. I'm not their father, why should I protect them?" After saying that, he took the lead and walked towards the depths. Coral was about to lose his mind and asked, "Should we continue to go deeper?" Chameleon Shi hesitated for a moment, then followed and said, "You make your own choice." Coral Yao hesitated for a long time, but finally trotted after him. Soon, as we went deeper, countless forks appeared. Hu Xian determined the location of the dragon's spiritual vein by sensing the demon's genetic spiritual power and chose a passage to walk through. Everyone else followed behind. Coral Yao said, "Chameleon Shi, should we go to other caves to have a look?" Chameleon Shi said, "You can go if you want." Coral Yao frowned and said, "You've been following this guy, are you in love with him?" Chameleon Shi frowned and asked, "Do you think you can handle the dangers that may arise here at any time?" Coral's body trembled and he felt scared when he thought of the bat. Magnetic. A strange voice came from behind. It gave everyone a bad feeling. They stopped and looked behind them. Soon, the target came into sight. That one was so huge that it almost occupied the entire cave. The scales all over his body seem invulnerable to swords and guns. And his defense is amazing. The milky white gas breathed out from the nose actually caused the space to distort. The power of this dragon python was beyond their imagination. And they were all terrified. Chapter 700, Take Down. As the dragon and python got closer, an invisible pressure reached my heart. Chameleon Shi stepped back subconsciously and then retreated behind Hu Xian. Coral Yao reacted and trotted behind Hu Xian. "Brother, what are you doing?" Hu Xian asked. "Human King, I didn't expect to meet you here." "What?" When they heard Zhao Yimeng address Hu Xian, they were all shocked. If you think about it carefully, considering Hu Xian's age and strength, it seems that no one can do what he does except the legendary Human King. Is he really the Human King? It was unbelievable that the Human King appeared so blatantly in a world ruled by demons. You know, the dark forces have been looking for the Human King, trying to kill him in the cradle. Hu Xian shook his head and smiled. "If I were the Human King, I wouldn't be so rubbish." Boom. All the demon race's mutated bloodlines are activated. The pressure from the extremely pure demon blood shocked Chameleon Shi and the others to the extreme. Mutated diamond sub-royal bloodline? The dragon python cried out in surprise again. The same thing shocked Chameleon Shi and the others. No matter whether it is the human king or the mutated demon royal bloodline. For them, they are all existence to look up to. No wonder you can disguise yourself as a human. That makes sense. How dare the human king appear in a world ruled by demons? However, if you want to take over the demon dragon's spiritual vein, I'm afraid you won't have a chance. What do you mean? Huaxian asked curiously. Because this demon dragon spirit has long been cultivated to the realm of the God Emperor. And we are just small fry and crab generals trained by him. A realm of the divine emperor. Huaxian's eyes lit up and he became even more interested. I want to go down and see him. Is that okay with you? Zhao Yimeng said, I can't beat you, so I can't stop you either. After saying that, he actually retreated. Chameleon Shi and the others still stared at Huaxian with shocked eyes. The devil Xiaoting smiled bitterly and said, Husband, it seems that everyone still underestimates you. The devil royal bloodline is all a lie. The demon race's mutated sub-royal bloodline is probably stronger than the orthodox royal bloodline. Right? Huaxian smiled and said, If I'm not strong, how can I be your husband? Let's go and meet the demon dragon spirit that has cultivated into a spirit. Coral Yao said in a deep voice. Arrogant guy, don't forget that Zhao Yimeng said that the demon dragon spiritual vein is already a god emperor. Huaxian chuckled and said, Are you scared? But don't worry. Even though you don't want to be my woman, in my heart, you have already been my woman, so I will protect you. Shameless. Huaxian looked at the chameleon Longxi and said with a smile, If you can be as calm as Miss Longxi, you will have a bright future. After saying that, he continued walking towards the depths. Not long after we walked, an extremely strong cold current hit us. Everything it passed through was instantly frozen. The air instantly turned into ice chips. So horrifying. Everyone subconsciously looked at Huaxian. Boom. The fire at Rebuke Gene power in Huaxian's body exploded instantly, turning into a terrifying flame, rushing towards the spreading cold air. Magnetic. Everyone was shocked. The terrifying extreme cold actually froze the flames that Huaxian had erupted. And it spread quickly along his flames. Chameleon Shi and the others were so frightened that they retreated quickly. In a few minutes, the horrible cold air enveloped Huaxian as well. Without a medium to transmit, the cold air moves slower. Sister, my brother-in-law won't die, right? Looking at the frozen Huaxian, the devil Shiwei muttered in shock. Demon Xiaoting said firmly. No, he will never die. Coral Yao said, It's all frozen. He's dead. At this time, look. Mantis Yi's shocked figure came. Everyone kept watching and realized that the cold air had not spread. What's even more terrifying is that the ice that freezes everything is actually melting. Chameleon Shi said in shock, the cold is weakening. His eyes fell on Huaxian, and he asked in horror, could it be? Coral Yao exclaimed, did he absorb all the cold energy? What kind of freak is he? The previous teleportation was definitely a very powerful spatial gene skill. The terrifying lightning power just now, as well as the fire power, can now absorb the extremely cold air. He can also communicate with any living thing. What else can't he do? Chameleon, she said in shock. I now suspect that he is not of mutated sub-royal bloodline at all. Everyone trembled. Coral Yao exclaimed, so, he is the omnipotent human king? Only the human king can tolerate everything. Everyone looked at Huaxian in horror. Hey, wise, what are you standing there for? Let's get going. Huaxian had already dealt with the extreme cold and shouted at them. Coral Yao said angrily, shameless, calling the wise to take advantage of us. Maybe it wouldn't be bad to have a human king as a husband. Chameleon, she suddenly said. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have won Chameleon Shi as your heroine within 10 days and received a god-level reward. Huaxian's body trembled, and he was extremely excited. Didn't expect the mission to be completed like this? A god-level reward. Check it out quickly. I didn't expect it to be a god-level gift package. System, open the god-level gift package for me. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have opened the God Lord level gift pack. Obtain 10 God Emperor barrier breaking pieces, 100 God Emperor upgrade coupons 1 level each, 100 Human King points 100 Jing Xiao billion, and obtained the transformation into 10,000 races skill. After receiving such a reward, Huaxian was stunned with shock. Especially the one that can transform into all races. Which means he can transform into any race. This is an invincible skill. System, use the Divine Emperor barrier breaking pill to break through the lightning at Rebuke Realm to the Divine Emperor level, and then use 100 level 1 upgrade scrolls to upgrade the lightning at Rebuke Realm to the peak of level 100. Ding, congratulations to the host for using the Divine Emperor Barrier Breaking Pill and 100 Divine Emperor Brave Scrolls to make the Lightning Gene Realm reach the peak of Divine Emperor level 100. Huaxian was filled with confidence as his cultivation level increased so dramatically in an instant. Honey, why do I feel like you're suddenly different from before? Devil Xiaoting asked curiously. Huaxian said calmly. What's the difference? Did you find that your husband? I am more handsome. You are so shameless, Coral Yao said disdainfully. Huaxian smiled and said, Coral Polipiao, my wife, don't you want to call me husband? Dream on, it's nice to think about it. If that's the case, and I can only kick you out after all, this is our family's honeymoon. And it wouldn't be good for you to follow us as an outsider. DSK, that chameleon, he will accept you just like you do. Before he could finish chameleon, she said, I think he is qualified to be my husband.